side so we can have some fun today. Yes, I said it. What a freeze is that? Because I'm just surprised. It just never ends. The trouble, directed at this man, punishment from every country doesn't seem to be ending. And it is quite surprising to me. I'm not sure why. I hope it subsides at some point because he's a human being after all. He says, here, Phantom of Many Topics, my friend. And the brother says, as much as we admire Roman Abramovich's hands are dirty, there's hardly a billionaire that you would say, and I don't know, when you say his hands are dirty, if you can't prove it, then I suggest you don't say it because it is baseless. Then I'm going to keep going through the chart, and then before we go into talking about it, then we have Tobago saying, big up, guys, big ups to you too, brother. How are you doing? And Tobago here says, hit the like button. Yes, people hit the like button. The more likes we get, the more Google algorithm will be triggered, and we'll we'll push the video to more people who will be interested in this particular kind of discussion. And hopefully we get at least 200 people watching today, but we'll see what will happen. And my brother Steve Chelsea says, big up my people. I hope you're doing well, brother. And he also says, big up Phantom. This is just them exchanging greetings. And Steve, big up. And we also have Todd Bolly in. I hope that happens. But my preferred bidders are the Saab Martin Broughton group for obvious reasons. I think they've proven that they can get the job done in the Premier League. Todd Bolly is front runner. Yes, I'm learning that too. So if he wins, it's not a bad idea. We know the person that we all do not want. A deadline for all beats today. Yes, and because the deadline for all beats are today, I think we'll do a series of Chelsea new owner announcement. Watch to follow the process so that if any news comes up, we'll talk about it. So, but I'll break it down into maybe 3 hours each. So it's going to be a long day for me today. And hopefully we get some good news. Simon Phillips on Twitter. Yes, I've seen that. Phantom, more than Trump or any U.S. billionaire, he's being sanctioned like any Russian oligarch. Please show us your evidence. Exactly, that's what I said. If you're going to say his hands are dirty, I think, yeah, show us some evidence. Phantom, I love you, but I don't think it's a good idea to make such a statement. We must be careful how we phrase it if we don't have any evidence. Now, this is, let me see, big up. And by the way, big up to True or Blue. Thank you for always providing great content and great input. I appreciate that. Hi, Steve Chelsea. And this is Steve Chelsea also saying, at Chelsea Perspective, we really need new owners quick. We need the new owners as quick as possible because the longer this takes, the more there's a possibility. I don't know. I'm not him. The man himself getting angry and say, you know what, to heck with the whole thing. I hope that doesn't happen because he loves the club too much. 3 important things you expect him from a new one. Good question there. I think there's a possibility that after the new owners, if they survive the vetting process of the Premier League and the government, then probably I think must have in place 2 of those things. One of which is the financial, that commitment, the £1 billion commitment to the project of the club, which includes the development of the youth team, the women's football, and also the stadium. That alone is huge. And then the other commitment is to be, past the process to be sure that in the near future we're not going to go through this whole situation again, being sanctions or be restricted from, doing a business and getting some income to facilitate all, to facilitate the club players' payment and the workers' payment. I don't want that to happen again. And the third one probably isn't the business of Rain Group or the business of the government, which is to always give managers who are doing well long-term contracts that will help us achieve a sustained success and not just have success in patches. The reason I say that, I think had we let Jose Mourinho stay in his first stint at Chelsea, I think Chelsea would have dominated for a while, but he was let go, and then there was a break in our success. That's why I said we've had patches of success, and there has never been a stretch of time where we have a prolonged, sustained success because we let managers go, even the ones that are doing it well. And then another manager, a good example would be Carlo Ancelotti. When he was at Chelsea, I think he did quite well. And had we let him stay longer than he did, I think we'd have a prolonged, time of success. So that's those are the three things. And that, by the way, that's a good question from you, Steve Chelsea. And I think I'll highlight this question so when others join me on the panel, we'll talk about it even more. Now, it says, smash that like button, people, and a sub. Let's grow even bigger. Yes, let's grow even bigger. Let's keep, more importantly, the moment you arrive, and Steve Chelsea, keep telling the people, smash the like button. The more you like the video, it triggers the Google algorithm and it will push it to more people. And if you haven't, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. That will help us grow. Let's try and reach 1,300 subscribers today. Right now, we're at 1,244 subscribers, and I know we'll get to that. But by the way, let's get into the business again. Remember, I said I think we would do a series of streams today as we try to follow the process, because the final, this is the deadline for the bidders to put in their final bid, and we will keep watch and follow the development as it happens. Very good. Still thinking of Rudiger contract. Again, I don't think it's up to the new owners. I think when Stab was still on the panel here, I think he understands the situation very well and knows something. I think he used the term like Rudiger has moved the goalpost on occasions, and that is not okay. Which it's more like taking the club for a ride. But I wouldn't blame him that much at his age. At his age, he'd be looking to get the most amount of money that he can get, given that he's not getting any younger. And after all, this is something he does for a living. Football is what he does to put food on the table for his family. Steve, back at Tuku from start to which in this summer also built at the stadium, also make sure the current workers around the club got their job. I think I don't think everybody at the club will keep their job, but I think every job that's crucial to the day-to-day activities of the club, I think most of them will keep. But I think the owners maybe will invent some roles or come in with their own people, because they want their own trusted individuals at the club also. So that's why I'm saying there's a chance. I don't see any of them keeping the whole employees. They will make some changes. Some will invent some roles. Here, if Todd Boehly wins, I hope he changes the scouting department. Again, I wish you could come into the panel to explain why you do not like the scouting department, because there's no that possibility for a scouting department to be all perfect. Sometimes you make some signings, sometimes the signings work, and sometimes the signings will not work. And this scouting department, I'd say they've not been that bad. I think on occasions you must remember, I think you could argue their hands have been forced to sign players that they do not want to sign. And we have we have to sell before we can buy. That is definitely true. That is definitely so. That's a delicious comment right there. We have to sell before we buy, because we have a bloated squad, and it wasn't. And that you could argue was one of the reasons why we couldn't sign players this past summer and sign too many players in January. Why? Because we have a bloated squad. If we don't sell, and those guys are also on a huge weekly salary wages. That's why one of the reasons why it was difficult to find a potential buyers. But that's by the way. 47-year contract. No, I don't think it will be that long. No manager, they don't give managers that many years because there's a risk. If the manager decides if anything happens, you're spending a lot in paying off the manager. And please allow me to take a sip of my coffee so that I can wake up properly and stay awake. Thank you very much. He says, bless up to you too, Bobby Fairview. How are you doing? Big up to you. I hope you were fine, my brother. Yes, not the board. I meant the day-to-day workers. I think they'd keep them. You don't fire those. The day-to-day workers, like those that work at the stores, I think keep them. Will keep their job. Where there may be some measure of changes, could be the board possibly, and also some areas that I don't understand the club's structure very well. So no need. I wouldn't go into it. Marina to stay. Hopefully she stays. Even if she doesn't intend to stay in the club for a long time anymore, given that it will no longer be Roman Abramovich. She may be obliged, if you want, or asked to stay by Roman Abramovich to help facilitate, a seamless transition from Roman Abramovich to the new owners. But eventually, I think she will leave. Let's say Scott McClarkin said Chalmany wasn't ready. We could get him for 30 million now. I don't know what happened there, so I'm not going to go into that. I did say he will need other form of payments if Chelsea to be sold. Okay, sell Lukaku to PSG, then buy. I don't think PSG want Lukaku, not at the form that he is right at the moment. Because if they come now, they pay us nearly, if not close to, they pay us close to the amount that we spend on him. He needs to go. Coachila, again, that's your opinion. If he needs to go, the only owners will tell us facts. Is nobody has offered Rudiger more than Chelsea. 200K reported, Juve around 115K, and he wants a 25 to 30 million sign-on fee. So that's a huge, and plus his family is settled in London, so I do not see him leaving. It's a difficult decision on his part. This is Max from Button Ballers. Big ups to you, my brother and good friend. Always good to see you. I hope you are doing well, and I hope your boys are doing well. If you follow watching right now, we have about 20 people watching, and we should also have around that many likes too, but we have just 11 likes. So come on, people, we can do better than that. Smash the like button. Make sure to go check out Button Ballers YouTube channel. Great content, no clickbaits, always objective, and knows the club very, very well. And like I used to say, Max is a Chelsea Football Club encyclopedia. So you should better go check out his content, and believe me, you will thank me later. And Rudiger is set to go with many interested parties. Will be a hard blow. I don't think he'd leave. Tuchel likes him, and Tuchel have always spoken highly of him, seeing the way the Tuchel talks about Rudiger shows that he will eventually stay at the club. And then the Queen here says. She says today is the day. Yesterday is the day we found out the prophet. I think are we going to find out the prophet be that today? But we'll see. I have some stuff to read for you guys, so we'll go through it. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link to the panel in the chat, so whoever has the time to join me on the panel will do so, and I appreciate that. And we still have just 14 likes. I think we can do better than that. And if you haven't, please do take some time to go share the stream so that many other people can join us. Here is the link to the panel. Right, and I'm going to pin it to the very top, so if you have the time, you can join the panel. All right, just give me a second, people. Sorry. Okay, pin a message. Yes, there you go. And Studio says Steve Chelsea. Love it. I'm not sure what that means. Big up to you, Olupol. I hope you started writing your tribute to Roman Abramovich. Big up. Steve says Max from Button Ballers. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful day. Max, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective.
Hey, Coachila, how you doing, mate? You good?
I can't complain. Nice to have you on board. I don't know if you've heard the news that Romans 7 billion worth of assets has been frozen in a small country called Jersey.
Jersey, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I, that's surprising to me. I think the whole thing, punishment or sanctions directed at him, I think has I was thinking it was over, and then this happened. Your thoughts on that, Matt?
I think it was a while ago because I heard reports that because he had 14 billion and it was slashed in half to seven anyway. So I think this is being reported already. So I think they're putting a squeeze on a bit more. I don't know, as I said, I don't know why because he's been involved in the peace talks, and I don't think America have actually sanctioned him, have they?
No, they haven't.
Because they've been told to hold off.
By
So
Zelensky.
exactly, exactly. So I'm not sure how this is going to help um, stop the war in Ukraine by taking these measures. So as I say, it's just again another way of putting a squeeze on, but for me, it's
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah. I think
pointless.
you called it what it is. I think it's another way of putting a squeeze on the man, pressuring him. All oligarchs said so. They put it again because the war looks like it's escalating. It doesn't look like the conflict is escalating. It doesn't look like it's subsiding. And I hope
Yeah.
that the
Mm.
conflict ends as soon as possible because it's not good. Lives are being lost, and that's not good news at all. So,
Yeah.
Max, once again, welcome back to Chelsea in Perspective. I want to ask you, Max, and if you're in the chat, do ask us any question you have, but make sure the question is aligned to the topic. At this point, we're talking about the sanctions on Roman Abramovich. Do you think that sanction, because 7 billion is a lot of money, do you think it will in any way affect Chelsea? Because that's where I'm concerned.
I don't see it affecting Chelsea because he's getting he's getting no money from the sale, and
Mm,
he's not going to be spiteful. He's not one of these guys who's going to cut off his nose to spite his face because he is a Chelsea supporter at the end of the day. His children are Chelsea supporters as well. So I don't think
hmm
he's going to do like he's not as petty as some of the other people involved in this. He's not going to say, okay, you're freezing this, so I'm not going to sell Chelsea. Because to what end? To what end? It does have effect on the supporters that he's grown to like and love, and he's going to want to see us succeeding because this is at the end of the day this is his legacy. Whatever happens afterwards, it is he started all of this, so he wants us to continue being
hmm
successful. And he wants to be able to leave Chelsea. you know he doesn't want his legacy tarnished at all. So he'll want to leave us in a good way.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's you said that before, and I think it makes perfect sense. Because again, the fact it all comes down to his legacy, and if in the end, if anything, if it tarnishes it, then if it does something that would tarnish it, then all his hard work, his love for the club becomes nothing. But the way he is, I think he will be forever loved and will forever remembered as a person, who made Chelsea a football club let me say, I think the best term to use would be a bigger club, because if I say global brand, I don't think it would make sense that much because Chelsea was known globally before, even before he took over the club. So, Max, I want to ask you this. Let's get to the update. If let me just breeze through the chat quickly and say hello to some people, then I'll come back to you. They say they are keeping in tandem with UK. Jersey is a protectorate. Yep, I thank you so much for saying that. No news is no news. Yep, and Jersey just hurt their own status. Sure, many will be taking their money out. I think it's a bit too late for anybody if you're an oligarch taking it out because they already have a hold on it. If it's there, it would be difficult to take it out. It says it's Steve Charles Big up, and this is CFC Fahim. If you haven't, please make sure to go check out the CFC Fahim YouTube channel. Roman's life is being ripped apart over something he didn't do. why do we think he will not become spiteful? Your thoughts? Yes, I think I leave this one to you, Matt. That's a question from Bobby Fairview.
Yeah, but as I said before, what to what end? You know, because it'll just be ruining the relationship that he's built up
Mm-hmm.
with Chelsea supporters. And it's if he does that, what does he gain from it? He doesn't gain anything from it at all. And I don't think he's that sort of person. Actually, a friend of mine, they actually were with, they were at his, working in his yacht. I know some people who are working in his yacht,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually said that he is such a lovely person, and the way that he's kind of been portrayed in the English press, he's nothing like that. He's somebody who cares a lot about people. He's a people person, and so he's not gonna it's not in his character to do something like that. I don't think.
And like you said, he's not petty.
No.
Yeah, yeah. I think you make a good argument there, and plus, I think his work, charitable work, this speaks a lot about the kind of person he is. From when he was governor in a state in Russia, he spent quite a lot of money, his own money, not even the government money, to ensure those in that area has a good health care system in place. I think that on its own isn't easy. I think and it is think about Chelsea, all the work that Chelsea do, all he's doing. He okays all those things from anti-Semitism work, anti-racism, and the fight against all sorts of discrimination. And what he's done for the British community itself, it's not something we must not forget. But surprisingly, the British government themselves seem not to care about that. To them, it is meaningless. I know I haven't asked you that question, Max. In some such situations, sometimes I see governments say, because of what this person, the individual, has done in our community, let's look beyond this things. Let's not punish them. Why hasn't the UK government done such? Considered all his good work, even what he's done for the NHS. I think they stayed at a club's hotel. And your thoughts, Matt?
It's an easy one, isn't it? Because they're just looking at anything, because they obviously they can't go to war with Russia.
Mm,
This is an easy target. They've seen the oligarchs, specifically Roman Abramovich, as an easy target because he is probably the most well-known Russian in England at the moment because of his ownership at Chelsea. So it's a bit of posturing. Okay, we've done this. We're taking action, and
mm,
it's not real action, is it? But it's like we need to do something. It's that feeling that they need to do something. And who's that Labour MP? I can't remember. He was there pushing for him to be sanctioned every day, and people were pushing for him to be sanctioned. And when you've got people in the
mm,
media as well, he's always been portrayed as the evil one, hasn't he, by jealous rival supporters, and so he's the guy who's ruined football apparently. When it wasn't him who ruined football, so, you need to look closer to home. People like Sky who report this because it was when these big TV sponsorship deals came in that it became a money-oriented sport. When Liverpool and Tottenham and those teams wanted to have 75% of the TV money and give the scraps to the remaining 17 clubs, and that's when they wanted it to be a sort of that's when all the money sort of started to come in. So Roman just came in, upset everybody by allowing Chelsea to become competitive, and he's been public enemy number one from then. And the government, they do look at public opinion and everything else. So although he's done a lot of good work within the community, etc. He's, as I said before, they see him as an easy target for a cheap win, really.
yeah, for a chip win, indeed. Some using it to score political points. I think it was Stav when he was on the panel. He explained that the UK government weren't really going to do anything, but they were under pressure, so they had to do something to show, okay, we're really doing something just to appease the public. But that's, by the way, thank you very much, Matt. That's why I always like to have you on the panel. Tobago, anything you want to say about the news that Roman's assets worth $7 billion has been frozen.
First of all, big up, guys, and
Big
then
up to you too, brother.
I think this is unfair to Roman Abramovich, just because he had a close relationship with Putin, and then they're targeting the guy. The guy is still
Hmm.
making peace between Ukraine and Russia. They still sanction him. What is that, man? Why they're not sanctioning the other billionaires around Russia?
Hmm.
So I would like to say spot on from Max, because I
Hey,
think
Tobago.
Roman Abramovich is an easy target because he's well known. So it's easy for them to sanction Roman Abramovich. So I'm so sad about this news. The poor guy is just making sure everything is in peace between Ukraine and Russia, but still they're doing the same thing. So hopefully this should stop. No more sanctioning to Roman Abramovich. So hopefully after the war, he can come back and start to fight for his money.
Yeah, I'm going to breeze through the chat and then I'll come back to Max. I know he's well acquainted with the process to help us an update on what's going to happen today because there's been some people say the new owner is going to be announced today. Some say it's just all final beats. I expect it to go in today. And bring it back to Max. True Blue says the only thing he can do is refuse to sell, and that would kill the club. Something he obviously does not want to do. I think that's important to note. He says he doesn't want anything from the proceeds of the sale of the club, and he also tried to hand it over to I think it was the trustee or so what they call it again. I can't quite remember. Just to distance himself from the club to avoid such issues that we're going through at this point. So that makes a great point. Big up Coachila and the panel. Big up to you, Just Viola, one of the queens of the house is around. Nice to see you. Big up everyone in the chat. And also, I still be here with a donation, a queen of all streams. I appreciate that donation. And like I've said to you, you don't have to do this. Your support alone means the world to me because you started supporting this channel when I had just 50 subscribers. So, but I appreciate that. Yes, keep rocking. Yeah, we will keep rocking. I appreciate that, Queen. Thank you so much. That means the world to us. And let me see if there's anything else to address here. And again, if you're there, the link to the panelists in the chat, if you want to join. MP Chris Bryan was pushing for Romana to leave. Yeah, all those things. I think somebody like Stav is well acquainted with that situation, but I tried as much as I can to avoid, politics when we talk
Yeah.
about our beloved club.
Yeah, that was the
90,
MP that I forgot. That's the MP I was thinking of, Chris Bryan, and I just couldn't remember his
okay,
name.
yeah, he pushed for it, right? Yeah, 90,000 a year to explain to me how to leave. Yeah, again, yeah. Yes, boy, he was, but not the reason the government sanctioned him. It was all a show. Yep, yep. It was all to score political points and all that. Russia is doing better on the sanctions. Yep, I think the conflict isn't good for all the parties involved. At this point, I think it is just a theft. There, you could call it that. 15 other Russian oligarchs were sanctioned the same day, not just Romania, but we're talking about our man because we love him so much, True Olupo. And hello, Chelsea fans. I come in peace. Melissa, nice to see you back again. I hope you're doing well. We haven't seen you for a while. So, Max, coming back to you, any updates for us or what exactly? Let me just go be straight with the question. What is it that's going to happen today? Is it are they going to announce the new owner, or are they going to check the final beats or whatever it is? I'm not sure what it is right now because there's so much out there, and I think some people, many people are also as confused as I am right now.
Yeah, yeah. The latest what I have heard is that today they have to submit their final bids. So all four bidders have to submit their final bids.
Mm.
And the bids will be evaluated. They still need to pass the Premier League fit and proper test or whatever it's called, which I don't understand because I'm hearing that it may be delayed by a couple of weeks till the end of the month or so before new owners are confirmed. because the Premier League are still evaluating. But I don't know why they couldn't have done it in the background, and because they've known who the four people have been for what, a good 2 or 3 weeks now. So they could have been carrying out tests on all of them in the background, because I feel that there's no point in saying, yeah, this is our preferred bidder, and then something comes up within that fit and proper test, which stops them from becoming our owners. So I think this should have been done in conjunction with the Rain Group and everything else, and sorting out who the preferred bidders are. So the latest I heard from the Bodie Group is that 50% of the club, so the majority shareholder, would be Clear Lake. Is it Clear Lake Capital, who are a hedge fund? They'll be owning 50% of the club.
Yeah, is that an issue? Because Tobago did send me a DM saying that situation you're talking about, the hedge fund group owning 50% of the share, and I said that's not bad to me. Is that an issue, Matt?
It's not an issue, because I suppose because they're a hedge fund, people are thinking they're going to leverage funds, take money out of the club or whatever. In America, we've got to understand that if this is going to be a different module from what Roman Abramovich did, where he just pumped money in, didn't expect a return on his investment. Out of all four of them, I think all of them will be expecting a return on investment. They're not just putting it in for the love of it. But that's not bad. It's not a bad thing for me, as long as we don't go down the same route as Manchester United, where they just taking money out and ruining the club, whatever. Todd Bowley, he's got it's sporting the clubs he runs over in America, the Dodgers, etc. They are successful on the pitch, and being successful on the pitch makes you successful off the pitch as well. So if they want us to remain successful by investing a lot of money into the club, even if they do take money out of the club, it doesn't bother me. As long as what bothers me is that we are competitive on the pitch and they make investments in the right way. It's not our money for them to, as I say, take money out. It's not a problem. Yeah, but not to the detriment of the club. And they'll want us to remain successful because they'll be getting in more sponsorships, and we'll be making more money from competitions like going further in the Champions League. There's lots of big money to be had in that. TV money when you're successful. So if we're not successful, they're not going to be making money. So they'll keep us competitive. Whoever it is, I think, is going to take us. Hopefully, they will. Still keep us.
I'm going to ask you this, Matt, because people have been saying what's it called again? The owners of Manchester United, is it the Glazers?
Glazers, yeah.
Yeah, people have been saying, you echoed that they took money out of Manchester United, but they spent $1 billion plus. It just Woodward, he was the chairman for a number of years. I think he's not a footballing individual, and they spent carelessly not buying players that will solve the issues they have in the squad. So the taking money thing is the part I don't understand, because almost everybody, I think Declan also have said something about that on the panel here, but I'm not sure what if that affected them in any way.
Yeah, so as I said, they have not been miserly in their spending. Even the ones over at Arsenal, who people have been saying have been miserly. It wasn't them. Remember, it was Wenger who said, no, we don't need to spend a lot of money. So it was him who said, no, let's just be sensible with the money. Since Wenger's gone, if you notice, Arsenal spent an awful lot of money. They spent 75 million on Pepe. They spent Aubameyang money wasn't cheap. They've outspent us in the last 3 or 4 seasons.
And then the Real Madrid boy.
Yeah, exactly. So they've outspent us in the last 3 or 4 seasons. But the issue is, for me, it's not taking money out of the club. It's about putting the right people in place. Where Manchester United have gone wrong is they haven't had the right football people running the club. Ed Woodward was a bit of a joke, really. And
but is that on the Glazers? Is that the fault?
Yeah, because you need to identify if the director of football isn't working, you get rid of them, because they don't know anything about football. And their thing is, as long as with Manchester United, the problem is, as long as they are still bringing in revenue, commercial revenue, It's all about bottom line for the Glazers. It's not about success on the pitch. It's how much money they can bring in and make from the club. So as long as they are, people are still buying shirts and the sponsorship deals are coming in, etc., etc., etc. That's what keeps them happy, So I won't be happy with that at Chelsea, and because Manchester United is different anyway. Because Manchester United were already quite a well-established club. With when I say well-established, we are established as well, but we don't get half the amount of commercial deals as Manchester United. So commercially, they were strong at the time anyway. So yeah, they haven't bothered about having a proper football strategy in place. Now that they've gone a few years without winning things, I think it's only lately because you can see how poor they have been and not even getting into the Champions League. That's what's made them react, because not getting into the Champions League, then there's a lot of all that sponsorship money to which they won't get. So there's a danger that they won't be getting into the Champions League this season. The season before last, they weren't in the Champions League. So they need top four as a minimum for Manchester United. So they're looking at how they are not having that success, on the pitch. So that's why now I think they're talking about having a proper director of football in place, getting in 10 cats, their manager, etc., etc. But as I said, for me, the vital thing for Chelsea is to get the structure right, getting the right director of football to keep things ticking over, and don't settle for mediocrity. And the way that the people have been talking, then that's what it seems to be for me. The only ones I don't trust are the Ricketts. And the reason why I say that with the Ricketts is you have to look at how the sporting clubs are being run. And to me, the Ricketts, the clubs, I think when they first came in, they won their first, didn't they win their first World Series or something? And then
I think they did, but after that, it's been downhill.
It's just been poor, and the fans haven't really liking them. And everything. So you have to look at how the fans from the clubs that they're already managing are viewing them, and then they haven't had that success. The Bowleys have what's his name, Pagliuca, or he's running Atalanta. He's become successful because they're now been in the Champions League, haven't they, a couple of times under his tutelage. And then you've got obviously the Broughtons, what he did with Liverpool before, and he's a Chelsea supporter as well. So
So specifically, Matt, do you fear any of those prospective new Chelsea owners that will run a Chelsea Football Club as the Glazers are running Manchester United?
Yeah, as I said, the only ones are the Ricketts, who I have a fear about. Just because, as I said, I'm just looking at past performances and things. Forgetting the race issues and everything else. As if I'm looking at just running of the football club, if they can prove different, they're saying that they're talking a good talk, but I'm looking at actions, and actions from where they were in the past doesn't back up, what they say they'll achieve for Chelsea.
Tavago, you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I want to talk about the Todd Bowley bit. I think the reason the Clay Lakers invested is because they saw a potential from Todd Bowley. They saw he's the front man, and they even said they own the 50% of the club, but Todd Bowley will do most of the things. So I'm gonna stay positive here. I don't think you can come in a club and invest money and then try to make money, but not building a success. So hopefully, if it's Todd Bowley's bid wins, I'm okay with it. But I don't want the Ricketts. That's the thing. But I have a fear the Ricketts might win.
I was gonna say nobody wants the Ricketts, but I'll be lying because we did have a poll out. Some percentage, I think it was 1.3% of the Chelsea fan. Maybe I don't know the real size because the sample size, I think it was about 120 votes but that's still a huge, a lot of people. But go ahead.
Yes, and then also about the Glazers in Man United. I
Mm-hmm.
think they're spending money there, but the problem is like they're spending a huge money on the way with the players, and then those players like they're coming in for big wages, but they're not building a success. So the
Mm-hmm.
Glazers just spending money on the players so that they can get revenues, and then they're good. As long as they're making money. So I think Manchester United, in order to be successful, they need to restructure everything or something in the board, just to have a football knowledge people around the board. Then they can build the success. So, just like for example, Liverpool, you know, Joe Edward is a good sporting director. So
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool have a good board, and then they're good on investing players. They don't just buy players knowing that they won't work in the system or they won't improve their squad. So that's the problem between Manchester United and the other teams.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much for that input. I'm going to breeze through the chat and I'm going to come back to you again, Matt. And if you're in the chat, the link to the panel, it remains open panel until the sale of the club is complete. Then it becomes a 2-member panel and 30 to 1 hour show, but it remains a marathon show until that process is complete. Here, Bali would be a better owner than Roman Abramovich, coming from an Arsenal fan. Trust me. Yeah, we're not going to trust you on that, Melissa. Thank you very much. You don't know who is good for us. But if you think you know why, let us know why you think it's he's going to be a better owner for us. Roman makes the decision. Marina, tell Roman what's going on. I think he'll be well acquainted with the pushback from the fans regarding the possibility of the Ricketts family becoming the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. And again, like Max said the other day on the panel here, he doesn't think Roman will okay that. And it's a good thing that after everything, he still has to sign up on the process. And I don't think he would want his image to be tarnished because that's important to him. And given that he's such a nice person, he wouldn't want to break people's heart with that decision. There's more people in the Pagliuca group than Man City fans. That's hilarious. Clinging at the border, a horde of boards are being associated with Pagliuca's bid, boldly being blown out of water by Pagliuca backers. Read like of who's who in North America. Max, that brings me to bring this to mind. Does the financial power of the groups really matter because they're not paying. They're not really paying out of pocket.
No, it's not. It's and even I heard that money is not going to be the deciding thing about it. When Roman and the board decide who wants a club, who gets the
Mm-hmm.
club. Sorry, it's going to be about who has the best business plan, who's best to take us forward as well. Because put it this way, all of them, if you add up, they're all going to be consortiums and things, and every single one of the consortiums, I think, apart from the Broughton group, have probably 2 or 3 times more money,
Mm-hmm.
combined money, than Roman Abramovich anyway. You know, I think the Broughtons with the 2 guys from Crystal Palace, I think it adds up to, is it 7 or 8 billion or something? I'm not sure where. And they've got that Ravindi, is it? Ravindi, the guy who owns one of the basketball teams in America. But I don't think I don't think he's worth over a billion. I don't think. So I'm not sure who else is part of that particular bid. But yeah. So, and the thing is, are they going to be investing? Because everyone's talking. A lot of people who want the Ricketts family, for instance, are talking about Ken
Mm-hmm.
Griffin's 21 billion that he has. But if again, what you need to do that look beyond the money that they have and look at past investments. You know, that's what a lot of people don't do their research. They just, you know, because everyone, whenever someone else comes in for Chelsea, what I do it as well. What the first thing most of the fans does, go to net worth, go and look at their net worth. Okay, this guy's rich. Let's get him in or something. But The second thing, what you need to do, what a lot of fans haven't done, but are just about looking at net worth and say, yeah, this guy's rich, bring him in. They have to see how has he invested his money. Like, for instance, someone like Griffin, he doesn't invest unless he knows he's going to be getting a return on his investment. So that's
Yeah.
important to have a look at as well.
He's a
So,
shrewd businessman.
exactly. That's because he's got 21. And I said it before, and I'm reiterating it. Don't look at it like Roman Abramovich. People are not going to just be throwing away their money and at a loss. They are going to be doing it from a business sense of view as well. So that's what we've got to be looking at. So all of these consortiums are going to expect a return on their investment.
Yeah, I'm going to follow that with another question, Matt, because I think you were part of that show, and Bobby was part of that show. The title was about how much we spend on players, and my argument in that show was we don't have to spend too much to buy a good talent. And that was the day I learned from you that Fernando Torres already was broken up before we signed him from Liverpool. It was you who explained. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you remember that day, I said something similar to, I think, if my memory serves me right, what if we get a new owner and that owner is profit focused? Then we're going to be in serious trouble. We're not going to be able to be spending as much as we're doing under Roman Abramovich. And I think Bobby's response then was, when we get that bridge, we cross it. And I say, and now we're at that bridge now, and I think we're finding it difficult to cross it. That brings me to this a very good comment here, in the sense that it triggers thoughts on. She says, Melissa here says, it's time for Chelsea fans to move on from Roman Abramovich. Don't you think? I think so, but it's not that simple. One example that shows that I don't think Chelsea fans are even ready to deal with the new reality, to face it. And the truth is, new owners might spend. That is at the beginning, just to appease the fan and just to get things going, to make sure everybody's happy. Is happy, but at some point, I think that it will subside. The fact is, we haven't. I don't think Chelsea fans are ready to cross that bridge now. We're there now. We're definitely going to get owners that are profit focused, because they're spending money. They're going to want return on whatever money they put in at Chelsea. And because, for instance, Chelsea fans, all they do, I think one of the comments reads something like, if the Ricketts have the money, who cares what they did, or something like that. Max, do you think Chelsea fans are ready or prepared to face the new reality, or even ready to cross that bridge? However you want to see it, I don't think we are, but you go ahead.
You know what? It all depends. It all depends on the individual, really. Because with me, I kind of think different from a lot of people, because I am always thinking good things at some point have to come to an end, okay? Because I didn't think he'll walk away from the club, but anything can happen. You look at the Leicester ones, unfortunately, helicopter crash. And even Matthew Harding, when he came to Chelsea, he came with big plans. Unfortunately, he passed away, So sometimes, you shouldn't be reliant on any one individual. You should be prepared for the worst case scenario, And even with Abramovich, it was always like, everyone, the Chelsea fans, they're looking for a reason to get rid of this guy, because this guy is, a lot of people don't like Chelsea anyway. So if there was a way that this guy can get rid of, then yeah. So this war's come at a convenient time for these people, and so he's going. So I think we can't forget what he's done. It's a massive legacy. And so a lot of the fans, and some fans just know the Abramovich era. And that's the thing. That's all they know of when they started supporting Chelsea during the Abramovich era. I was here way before, and I've seen us go through some lows. I've seen buckets outside Stamford Bridge where they were collecting money to save the bridge and things like that. Before Abramovich took over, we were on the verge of bankruptcy. So I've seen the lows. So I suppose because I've seen the lows before, I'm better prepared for situations like this. But people who haven't seen these lows, then yeah, it is going to come as a massive, transition for them to But one thing I might add, what you were talking about earlier, is we are not Chelsea 2003-4. where we were having to catch up with the big boys because they had the money and we didn't, and we had to spend to catch up. We are in a much better place than we were back then. We have a good youth infrastructure in place. We've got the best academy in world football. We have already we just need fine tuning rather than major surgery within our squad. And what it's going to allow us to do, because I'm not sure if I mentioned it on this show or another show, Roman Abramovich was a fan. And when you are coming as a fan, sometimes it's good for you, and sometimes it's not so good for you because you look at a player, like we do, these the youngsters who play FIFA and everything else. They just go out like it's FIFA and let's go and get this striker to play in our team. Torres, who we mentioned on that show before, he wasn't suited for Chelsea. He was not suited. He wasn't fit enough, as I told you before. But Liverpool played in a different style than Chelsea played back then. Liverpool were Steven Gerrard and Xabi Alonso were bombing 50-yard balls, and he played on the edge of the defender. Chelsea were an intricate, possession-based football build-up because he was under Ancelotti when he came, and he wasn't suited to that style, and it showed. We've seen it with Lukaku now. Lukaku's not suited to the way that Thomas Tuchel plays his football. So if it's Todd Bowley or whoever comes in with a data-driven style of football, one of the things they're going to be saying is this guy, it's not about buying big, it's about buying smart, as I said before. So does this guy fit into our team? Because you were making some good points when we did that show with Bobby that time. It's not always about getting the big players in, it's about players who fit the system, So would say of the Halovic, who's now doing well at Juventus, for instance, would he have been a better fit? For instance, I'm not saying he would have been, but we could have got him for half what we paid for, and he's a bit more mobile and he's better in tight space and things. So he may have been a better fit. So a new owner may have seen him coming in rather than say a sentimental return for Romelu Lukaku, or like I've seen CFC saying Darwin Núñez is he looks good at the minute, and he's so it's buys like that maybe we'll be getting. If you look at Liverpool, apart from obviously they spent big on two players, Van Dijk and the goalkeeper, but a lot of the other players that they've brought in, they haven't been like plus 60+ million pounds, but they have been players who can fit into a system. And one interesting thing once when Jurgen Klopp was asked about Gareth Bale, and when Gareth Bale was for sale, he said, "I wouldn't want. He's a good player, but he doesn't fit into the way I want to play. So I wouldn't want him." So he'd have told that to the board, and they wouldn't have just gone out and bought him for 70 million at the time because he didn't fit into the way that Liverpool played. And so I think if we can get to a situation where the board and the manager are in unison of the players that they want, then I think that's a better model as well. And it should also be...
Yeah, go ahead.
And it should also be a case of, for instance, okay, building the side that Tuchel wants, but even if Tuchel was to go, then the succession plan should be you getting a manager who plays a similar style to what Tuchel's played, or we have a philosophy of how we want the club to play, and then so when the new manager comes in, then they wouldn't have to then go and buy all these different players to fit their system. Because what we've done in the past as well under Roman Abramovich is we've been getting these managers who, Jose Mourinho, as you know, was a counter-attacking manager. Then we went to a more possession based on the Ancelotti. I know it started off with ABB, then Ancelotti came. Then we went to and we went back to Jose Mourinho, and that's why he sold players like Kevin De Bruyne and people like that, and Salah, because they didn't fit into his style of football. So we tried to build a side for a certain style of football. Then we sold them. Then we went and bought in Conte. Conte's style was kind of similar to Mourinho's, but it was different tweaks and things. And Sarri was totally different. And then Lampard was again different. So you know what? So we've been having a mismatch of players, and we still got players from all four different eras. We've got players who were bought under the Mourinho era, who were bought under the Sarri era, who were bought under the Lampard era, and then that's why sometimes you find with our side we have round peg square holes or something. So we need to hopefully the new people who come in give us that sort of philosophy, and we build on that. So as I said, if our manager goes, someone can come in and fit seamlessly into the style of football that we want to achieve.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that great input. Your knowledge of the club is phenomenal, I must say. So thank you again. Tobago, you want to add anything before I go through the chart and come back to the panel again?
No, you know who I want to talk about. I told you in the DM.
Go ahead.
Juan Nunes. You can see his movement, man. I'm so disappointed in our Chelsea scout. Like as I said, I love Lukaku, but Lukaku doesn't fit into our system. So I think that was a wrong move. Hopefully, in the near future, we'll be able to fix those kind of mistakes. Like we don't need to just to splash money into their players. We need to just scout properly.
I was actually going to let you know, I think you made me decide we'll have a Blue Morning show where we talk about all about transfers. But go ahead if you want to talk about him now so that I can go through the chat before it's too long to cover and then come back to Matt again and to you. Go ahead, Tobago, you done? Okay, looks like we've lost him. I'm going to breeze through the chat again and come back to you, Matt. All right, go ahead. Are you still talking? Go ahead.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. You can give the Max the platform.
I'll come back to Max. Okay, I'll come back to Max in a bit. And remember, we'll host that is Blue Morning show where we'll talk about just transfers and Nunes also. And before I continue, if you're in the chat, please make sure to like the video. It is very important, and it is for free. If anybody asks you to, tell them I already paid for you. If you like the video, it triggers the YouTube algorithm to push the video to people who would be interested in such a topic, this particular topic if you prefer. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. That will go along with for us. Lee here says apparently the Steven beat is preferred to the Tom's beat. There's no way to tell whose beat is preferred over the other group. These are just speculations because none of us are at the table with the Ren group who's been tasked with facilitating the sell prices. So I wouldn't trust that statement. Now, we did that, with I think the number 9 days, I think it depends on the manager. But for Pep and Tuchel, they're not known to be, they don't use number 9s. They find number 9s as Lukaku, as Mauro Icardi, to use them that much. They understand their importance in some cases. And if you, again, I've said this like 1,000 times, if you look at Thomas Tuchel from Mainz to Borussia Dortmund, to PSG, he's never used a traditional number 9 constantly. Even at PSG, when he had Mauro Icardi, he didn't use him that much. Let me continue. Werner Havertz, okay, this is just a comment. I hear the Steven beat is preferred to Tom, and the Ricketts beat also. Genteri has backed it also. I think we'll talk about that. Again, anything in the comment here. If not, I'll just go to Matt. If you want your question or input to be addressed, make sure that it is aligned with the sale process or with the sanctions on Roman Abramovich, then we'll try to answer that. Todd Bowley is leading. It's been said by many reliable journalists. There's a possibility. Kante is getting sold to Real Madrid for 58 million. I'm not sure that is the truth. I know some fans were blaming him for the second goal, or was it the first goal, so to speak. I don't think it was his fault. Had that pass met his target, we'll be going, wow, he's good. It happens in games. He's a human after all. And if you remember, he was surrounded, and that was the only option. it just the past didn't just reach its destination. So I wouldn't blame him. You must remember, factor into the fact that the guy was fasting, and the fact to break his fast just around 15 minutes or less before the game started. So even if he ate something before the game started, it takes a while for the body to process the food you eat and replenish the energy you need to perform. So after that fasting, you could argue that his decision making will be impaired to some measure, because after all, he is a human being. But that's, by the way, it is not how much cash you have. It is also how you run a sports franchise as well. And the plan you've presented to those in charge of selecting the owners. Yep, I think Max also explained that quite in detail. They will see Ricketts run a poor sports franchise. Yep, they will see that because they will do their investigation. Arsenal, the champions, of finishing out of top four. I don't want to start a fight here. Okay, let me go through this quickly, and then I want to ask Max a very important question. Let me see if there's anything to address here. At this point, I don't think there is any. Pulisic is leaving Chelsea this summer. It is not that simple, because he's more than a footballer to Chelsea Football Club, and I think I should save that so that we'll talk about it later. Where is that statement here? I think it is this one. So Max, I'm going to come back to you quickly. I don't think there's any comment here to address. The question I have for you. We've talked about Chelsea fans not being ready, to cross that bridge, as the way we did put it, or, to adapt to how things will change at Chelsea and the new reality, if you prefer. So, Max, can you just talk about what you think the new reality will be, so that we will be specific about it and talk about it? What will be the new reality after the sale of Chelsea Football Club?
Well, yeah, the new reality I mentioned before is we're not gonna see us splashing out big money on 5 or 6 players every season. But it's not. I wouldn't even say it's a new reality, because a lot of people don't realise that for a few years now, since financial fair play has come in, we have always had a sell to buy policy anyway. So okay, we've been buying big, but we've been having player sales as well. So it's nothing new, because when's the last time that our net, because even look at our net profit, we are, I think, up until last season, I think we took a hit, because everyone took a hit with COVID, but prior to COVID, I think a couple of seasons ago, our net profit was actually, or from player acquisition and sales, we were about 6. We made the 4th or 5th highest net profit. Even teams like Crystal Palace had a lower net profit than we did. So we've been going down that model since financial fair play, where that's why when you look at the big buys that we did with Havertz and Werner and everything else, that was funded the season before with the 150 million that we sold Hazard for. And I think there was another big sell. I think Morata was sold that year as well, wasn't he? We got our money back on Morata, and so we will still be spending at a decent level, a similar level to what we've been spending now. But what I'm hoping, which we can improve on, is, as I said, what the stadium build, which was going to be started by Roman before his original sanction, not his sanction, the sanction he had before due to the poisoning that happened in Salisbury, and then he had to leave the country. Remember, so that's why he couldn't actually invest in the stadium build. So that's going to give us a bit more revenue stream and an improved commercial, because what Americans are good at are building your business commercially. There's a lot of untapped markets in America, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this before with Todd Bowley. He did mention something as how, because football, the time slot, there's no other sport in America that comes on that time slot because of the time differences. So you can see with the advertising, Americans love advertising, hence why they have all these timeouts in their sports like basketball, American football, etc. Then you can see the, the advertisers, because they've got no competitors, there will be, you know, they'll be trying to, will, if we get some good sponsorship deals or whatever, we will be recognised throughout the whole of America because of, a Chelsea club owned by Chelsea owners, and there's a lot of revenue to be had through commercial projects, etc.
Yeah, I think that's a great input. So again, I'm expecting a lot of changes in terms of how the club is run, in terms of how we spend, and again, we've established. I don't think
Yeah,
Chelsea fans are prepared. Go ahead. You wanted to say
yeah.
something
And as I
more?
said, it all depends on who they keep on, because there's a lot of talk. I'm not sure if it's just rumours or what they want the fans to hear, but that Marina, they want to keep her on as well. There's going to be people on the board from wanting a point, but if they keep some of the people there who are, they'd be silly to get rid of everyone, so they keep people on
Hmm.
board, because there's a report came out today actually where it said that Chelsea are still identifying the targets that they want. So there's someone in the background working on that, and then
Hmm.
these targets will still be given to whoever the new owners are. So there's still talk of Kundi, Chouameni, Declan Rice's name has been mooted. So, and with new owners, they're going to want one or two marquees to appease the fans, because they always want to come
Hmm.
in and give us a shiny new toy or two so that we can get on side really quickly. So I still think there will be a couple of marquee signings coming in. And you mentioned before, when you were when I was listening earlier about the scouting, and you said it wasn't that bad. I'll disagree on that. I think we need to get some good scouts in. We've got great scouts for the youth team, but when it comes to scouting for the first team, that Scott McLaughlin has made lots of errors. And okay, you mentioned about the Chouameni one. He scouted Saul for 2 years, and the fact that he scouted Saul for 2 years and thought he was ready, Premier League ready, that brings out some red flags for me. And some of the players that they've scouted. Now, it's a scout's job to say, okay, is this player going to fit into the way that my manager wants to play? And you veto deals if they're not right for the club. And we've made a few errors in that aspect. So I think we can improve on the scouting. Even if it means moving up some of the ones from the youth team who are very good at it. Because our youth
I think
system is
a
tend
very
to
a
pick the
very
right
important
players.
question that I'm going to ask you later just came to mind. But go ahead.
Yeah, so
From you.
they seem to pick
Hmm.
the right players in the youth system, but in the first team we have, because a lot of these
Hmm.
are club decisions. Because even Tuchel said it's the club pick the team, like that the business model that they have in Spain sometimes, where
Hmm.
they'll pick the players. The manager has to know how to manage these players, and it comes probably with not having a proper director of football as well, because we haven't had a director of football since the days of Eminalo. Czech's role is different, isn't he? He's more of an advisor than a director of football. So even if it's given Czech the director of football, or somebody who knows football, who can have a better input in the sort of players that we need to bring in. I think they're making the right steps, because they've identified like a Tchouaméni, Declan Rice type of midfielder, which I think is the right step, because that's the sort of midfielder that we do need for this club, because we haven't got one of those sorts at the moment. Usman Dembele, if he can come in, that's a player who Thomas Tuchel has worked with in the past and likes. So I think that he can improve us. So, and that's on a free. So we're just
But
looking at
when
wage
you say
reporting.
Dembele will be a PR nightmare,
Hmm?
Dembele signing Usman Dembele will cause a lot of PR issues. Because I don't think if you paid attention to the racial issue, racism issue, or role, if you prefer, he had in the preseason tour. I think it was in Japan that he and what's his name, Antoine Griezmann made fun of two Asian men that were in the hotel room to help them fix a video game. I don't think. Do you think Chelsea would risk
I
that
wasn't aware of
PR?
that. I wasn't aware
Yeah,
of that actually.
I
I
think
didn't
you
know
should
that.
look into it because it's serious. To me, I'd like to have him at the club, and I don't think Chelsea will look beyond that. And that's probably
Yeah.
one of the reasons why they weren't serious in terms of bringing him in. Again, I think, yep, I think
We
they
brought
made fun.
Kennedy back as well, though, because remember Kennedy had an issue in China.
Yeah, but Kennedy's case is different. I think you need to look into that. Usman Dembele's case, even Rakuten, Barcelona is one of Barcelona's biggest sponsors. Had to ask them to do something, and that was when they put out a statement. It was serious of Dembele himself, and what's his name, Dembele and Antoine
Griezmann as
Griezmann
well.
both
Yeah.
put out a statement. And it wasn't just that incident alone. And, they dug up a whole lot of things. I think about three or four of the issues they've had in the past. So I think you need to check it out. So I don't think Chelsea will look beyond that
Yeah,
issue.
I
But
wasn't aware of that, to be honest. So I didn't
yeah,
know anything about it.
but no, I think some people actually are aware, but decide to look about it. But I'm sure you're not aware of it. And maybe when you look at it, you say because you understand the club very well than I do. You probably say I don't think it will be an issue. But for me, I think it will be an issue.
Yeah, if they are
Hmm.
sort of, because race is one of the big selling points, isn't it? A lot of them are talking about diversity
Yeah.
as
Hmm.
part of their plan, 8-point plan or whatever it is. So maybe
Yeah.
for something
And
like
I
that,
think
and they
yeah,
want to
and I
succeed to
think
doing something, then maybe.
yeah, and Dembele was actually I think Antoine Griezmann was actually I think the one that was talked about the more. I don't know whether if it was because
Uh-huh.
Dembele was black. And then the question I asked in the video I made, because Chelsea fans, they had issue. The moment it was rumored that the club was looking at signing Antoine Griezmann, a lot of Chelsea fans was going, whoa, 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 he's racist. Don't do that. Don't sign him. But here's the truth. In that particular video, where that racism incident took place in Japan, I think it was Japan, but if you're in the chat, correct me if I was wrong. It was Dembele who did all the talking. All Antoine Griezmann did was laugh. So if we say we don't want Griezmann, who didn't talk, all he did was laugh at what Dembele was saying, then we must not go near Dembele. That's just the argument. And again, it's a PR nightmare. And like you just mentioned, you don't think the club would risk it because it's, that's the selling point. And we have a lot of big sponsors from the Asian market. Again, that's by the way. I'm going to come to you, Nick. Your thoughts on the possibility that is how things will change. But first, I want to say thank you to Street Bear for this delicious comments here. As staff will say, don't use the word delicious. It's not cookery. They talking about things you love, and I love you more, Street Bear. And you are the queen of all Chelsea streams. I think you do a lot. You do support the Chelsea community a whole lot, and I do appreciate that. Thank you very much, and thank you for the donation today also. So, Nick, coming to you before I go back to the chat and come back to Matt. How do you think things will change at Chelsea? I don't know if I've asked you this question before, and do you think the Chelsea fans are ready to navigate the change that is certain to happen?
Yeah. No one knows for sure. Anyway, first of all, big up to Max. Always great points. Max, I like your points. Big up to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We don't know really till we see who's going to be the new owners. Looks like kind of Bowley and Bolton, but I think it's going to be Bowley myself. Yeah, right. I don't, even with that Tottenham fan in there, but if that Tottenham fan's just going to concentrate on rebuilding the stadium, then I'll be fine with it. I don't want him getting into games shouting for Tottenham or anything like that. Otherwise, there'll be a backlash. Yeah. I hope. What you mean? What they're going to do? The new whoever comes in, you say?
Yeah, how do you think things would change, and do you think Chelsea fans are ready to face the new reality in terms of how things will change?
I don't want it to change much, really, apart from start rebuilding Stamford Bridge, like they all said. That's the main priority. But I don't want them to change or get rid of too many people in our boardroom. I love to see Marina and Czech say, as most of us will. But I can see Marina going with Roman, really. So
Yeah, but because Roman loves the club, I think he'd urge her to stay at least through the transition period. But go ahead, brother.
yeah, I said I hope that's the case. I love her to say she's an unbelievable woman, you know, a true Chelsea fan as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if she stays as long as the owners want her to stay. And I think they're not stupid to go against what the fans have been saying all these, throughout this week. All the Chelsea major supporters groups, what they've been saying. I'm sure they hear it. And I think they have more. I don't know. They make me feel more confident than the others for some reason that they're going to do what they say. I don't know what Max said. Talked about this before, but I don't know. Max, who you think is better? The Todd Bowley group better than the others, or?
The question is, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be the best. Yeah. I'll just make a last point because I need to go in a minute because I've got an appointment.
Yeah,
okay.
Can I make this last point?
And before Max, please make sure to go check out Button Ballers YouTube channel. Believe me, if you do, you'll come back and say thank you, Coachila, for suggesting Max Button Ballers YouTube channel.
Greatest intro ever.
Big up Phantom. Yeah.
Always objective, and he knows the club very well. I call him the encyclopedia of Chelsea Football Club. But the content overall, you will enjoy.
Fan in the panel.
Yeah. Who's also Max Button Baller's biggest supporter. But go ahead, Max, so that you can go for your appointment. Let's let Max talk so that he can go for his appointment.
Yeah, I can't say anything against Phantom. He's one of my biggest supporters. So yeah, big up.
Nick,
right.
He can't say anything against Phantom.
So my final point is not my point actually. I'm not sure if anyone's seen a point by Paul Canaville, which was an hour ago. He's tweeted an hour ago, and he said it's been dangerous to be too pro or too anti any of the bids until all the details are out in the open and clear as day. I'm confident that Roman's children, being huge Chelsea fans, will help Rain choose the best option. Then we all got to pull together. Legacy. So I think that's it. So we just know what is out there, and it's all the PR because some people are going to be saying things that we want to hear and everything else. Paul Cannibal actually met with all of them, so he's actually able to look into their eyes and see whether they're genuine or not, and see what they, the proposals that they have. We're just privy, as I said, to snippets here and there of PR, but I'm hoping that we'll be sensible enough as a club to actually, look at these people, question them, and say, look, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? How are you going to keep this legacy going? And the big thing is, as I said, Al-Qadi, is it Al-Qadi? This Abramovich's son? Is his name
Al-Qadi?
Al-Qadi, I think his name is, yeah. He's a because the other idea was for him to be the next owner after Roman had left anyway. So he's gonna, as a fan, he's gonna still want to see us being successful. Maybe a few years later, when we are successful and they want to sell at a profit, Al-Qadi will be ready to take over, and we may have another Abramovich in charge in a few years' time anyway. So that'd be great. Yeah. But anyway, I need to run. It was lovely.
Yes. Good luck with the appointment, and everybody, make sure to go check Max's channel. Please do that. Great individual. One of the most behaved adults in the Twitter sphere, especially, and also his channel. More importantly, I think you need to go check out his content. Max, I hope to see you again on the panel whenever you have time.
Okay, so big up the rest of the guys, and we'll take care, and all the best for the rest of the show. Take care.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you, and I'll make sure to provide his complete information in the description section the moment the video is ready. See you later, brother, and good luck with the appointment.
Cheers.
And Nick, back to you. You were saying something before Max took over because he wanted to leave. And I'll
Yeah,
come to you in a bit, Phantom. Please don't be mad at me.
yeah.
Thank you, brother.
I was saying, yeah, I like the new owner, whoever he's going to be, to do what they say and don't go back on their words and don't change too much, if anything. We don't need any changes. We have, we have been great under Roman, and I'm sure Roman would tell these people, before he signs that paper, because his family are Chelsea through and through. Don't forget, and he himself is a fan. So I trust Roman to make sure that happens. To back Tuchel, the first thing I want them to do, right, rebuild the stadium, make it to 60,000. I don't think it can go too much higher than 60, maybe 62, 63. So more fans can come to the bridge, like the old days. And I want the main thing is for the new owner to give Thomas Tuchel a long contract and let Tuchel do the rest, the football side. Don't interfere with Tuchel's decisions and all that. I hate owners who want to do this and that, and then they go above the manager. That's why Jose Mourinho left us. So I don't want that to happen again. Tuchel deserves it. He's a manager. And I'm sure the new owners realize they know how good he is. So I think we have a great future ahead. And Phantom will be run back to Stamford Bridge from Fulham, where he's.
That's a good comment, Nick, and I appreciate you. Again, I can't thank you enough for always finding time to be on the panel. If Tuchel wants Bella, you have to follow what Coach. No. This is where I love you, Frizzle, but I disagree with you on this one. And the club, I think the club's image is important to the club, and you don't want a situation where you sign a player and then you start having complaints from your sponsors from the Asian market, because that thing was serious. And Barcelona, I think they wanted him out. They wanted him and Griezmann out. And again, I think it's serious if you look into it. I don't think if Tuchel wants him, the club will just sign him because he wants him. No, they look at things from a business perspective because they could lose sponsors because of it. This is a serious situation if you ask me. And I'm going to ask you this before I go. I breeze through the chat and then I'll run and come back in about 3 minutes or so. Phantom, how do you think things will change at Chelsea Football Club the moment the new ownership switches, and which of those things do you fear the most should they happen? If you're in the chat, let us know how you think things will change at Chelsea that you want to see happen. I'll be looking at your comments and I'll pick the best comments to read here. Go ahead, Phantom.
I think everything will be okay unless it's the Ricketts. If the Ricketts get in, then who knows? Maybe you might lose the Yokohama Tires if Dembele or the Ricketts come in, because the Japanese are very conscious about that sort of thing, right? Did he go away, or is he taking a break? Okay, anyways, guys,
No,
I cannot read.
His connection, Phantom. He'll be back. You carry on.
I can't. I just want to let you guys know while I'm on the cell phone, I cannot read the comments in the chat. So if you're speaking at me, I'm not ignoring you guys. I just can't see the chat. That's all.
I'll read anything out to you.
Okay. Yeah. If somebody is speaking to me, please read it out to me. Yes.
Yeah.
No. As far as I think the human mind is we go through shock, right? They call it the 5 stages of Greek or whatever, or grief. And I think that the first initial thing is shock. Oh my gosh, we're losing Roman Abramovich. But then after a few weeks, we get used to the idea and, we just go, life moves on. And whoever the new owner is, we're going to deal with the new situation. I'm not if the Ricketts came on and said, our father was a jerk in the past or whatever, even I've even forgiven George Wallace. I don't know if you know who that politician is, but eventually later on in life, he was regretful of the things he did earlier in life. So, I mean, there's redemption for everybody. And if the Ricketts really truly came out and apologized for all that in a sincere manner, I would accept the apology and come back. I would accept the apology from Trump as well for saying the exact same thing that he said about, the Chinese people. And I'm a forgiveful person, and so I would. But on principle, if the Ricketts, as the current owners, I would not be able to accept them and have to go to Fulham fully. And
So,
right
but
now I'm wearing a Roma shirt.
overall,
Yeah.
I know you have every right to support whatever club you want to
Yeah.
support.
Well,
that
I'll
we've
support your
established.
channel
No, I know,
as a rival fan.
I know.
Yeah.
If you don't support me, if I meet you in Arizona, we'll have a fist fight over it. But that's by the way. I just want to say this. You haven't told me, how do you think things will change at the club, and which of them do you fear the most that's going to happen?
I fear that Rudiger would walk. I fear that Conte would walk, and I fear that Ziyech would walk, because if they're
And that is
doing
if the
fasting,
Ricketts.
yeah, if it's the Ricketts, because if they're doing fasting over Ramadan and they're putting Ramadan more important than the Champions League, trophy, then they're definitely going to walk over the Ricketts by making that statement. I don't know who's choosing. I can't imagine that Roman Abramovich wants the Ricketts. I don't know where that comes from.
I think that's a
rumors about
question.
that.
That's a question that something that staff said when he was on the panel here. Something like, "What if Roman wants the Ricketts?" Because that's a possibility.
Oh,
We don't know.
I guess if we're being Sherlock Holmes, we can't, eliminate that possibility, because it is possible. Because otherwise, why would the Ricketts even make it into the Final Four? They ran the Cubs horribly. They're still in debt over there. And why would they want to buy another team if they're in debt with the Cubs? It just doesn't make any sense, And I guess everybody in the Chelsea fandom is just afraid that whoever the new owner is going to turn out to be the Glazers. Because if they had the Liverpool consortium, at least over at Liverpool, they spent several years to build a winner, right? And now Liverpool's a winner. But if you look at Man United, wow, what a train wreck it is over there with the Glazers.
So I'm going to quickly breeze through the chat. That's great input right there. And I'll come back to the panel again. Lee says, I think Chelsea ladies team will beat Arsenal ladies team 2-1 in the FA Cup semi-finals on Sunday. And I think the men's Chelsea team will beat Crystal Palace teams on Sunday. Melissa, I want to get your thoughts on this. Comment on the screen. He's gonna be at the board. Nick Blue, who's gonna be at the board? I'm not sure who Fraser is referring to. I am close, but so far away. Okay, let's see what again. Melissa says, Lee, we will see, won't we? Exactly. On that day, we'll see. After 90 minutes, we'll find out who wins. Guston's job is to fix Stamford Bridge. It's been said already. Yep, it's not going to be a major shareholder. I think it makes sense. He has a job to do, and he's going to get it done. Chelsea ladies summer final FA Cup. Come on, babes. I know they will do it. I know how much Trippier loves the Chelsea ladies, and hopefully they get a good result for her on that day. There's rumors going around that Pogba is coming to Chelsea. I don't want Pogba. Okay, here's this. Let's talk about this since somebody brings it up here. I don't think it will happen. Pogba's preferred destination is Real Madrid, and this is especially too if he's leaving on a free. I bet you he's going straight to Real Madrid. He's not coming to Chelsea. He's a fine player. Would I want him to come to Chelsea? I think he would do good at Chelsea, but I don't think he will even attend to that. Yeah. Again, your thoughts on that, Nick? Then I'll go to Phantom because he says he's using his phone. Your thoughts about this comment about Pogba coming to Chelsea Football Club?
Me personally, I don't want Paul Pogba. I've seen his attitude. He's not very good. When Mourinho was, you saw what he was doing, arguing, talking behind Mourinho's back and everything. I don't need that sort of player. I don't want him, and I don't think he will. I don't think Chelsea will even bother looking at him. You know, that's what I think. No chance.
I don't think Manchester United will even listen to that. Is if he, I think he's living on a free, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think he would want to. Yeah, he wouldn't come to Chelsea either. Go ahead,
coach. But he's not coming to Chelsea. He's not a Chelsea player. He's not. He can't be a Chelsea player. His attitude is completely wrong. All right, you might say he can link up with Kante, but Kante's getting, he's getting along now. He's not, he's 33 years old, so there's no point bringing Pogba in now, and he won't. Chelsea won't do that. I'm sure about that, and yeah, he's good in France. He's good with Kante. France, they do play well. That's the only Pogba I like when he's playing for France. But
and we can. If this is even possible, it's only going to work well if Kante remains at Chelsea. Go ahead, Nick. You make a very powerful point there, and thank you for that. Go ahead.
That's what it is, really. But I like watching them play with France. I like France. Kante and Pogba, they won the World Cup. That was good. But forget coming to Chelsea. He's not one of our. He can't be a Chelsea player. I want to get to the point. What's his name was making? He was asking about what I said. Fraser, yeah. I was talking about the Tottenham fan in the Bowley group. As long as that fan keeps away from the decisions and everything, and he comes from rebuilding. He's a redevelopment builder, isn't he? So, just to let him do the job and nothing else. Otherwise,
I think that's what it's going to be. After all, go ahead, Nick.
I think that will happen. That's why I fancy the Bowlings.
Yeah, and after all, Nick, if you remember, what's his name? Martin Broughton was once Liverpool's chairman, but he is a Chelsea fan. Yeah, and we had what's his name? Peter Kenyon, who worked for Manchester United and then worked for Chelsea Football Club. Yeah. When you're there to do a job, you just do your job. If you don't do it right, it affects your career overall.
I don't mind you, a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So back to you, Phantom. The topic about Paul Pogba coming to Chelsea doesn't look like it's something you like.
Yeah. Okay. So with Paul. I don't necessarily have a problem with the player as much as the agent, because it's going to be Mino Raiola drama on top of the Paul Pogba issues. So that's a double whammy, right?
How about the fact that he's going to be on a free? Would you consider it?
Well,
if you're in the chat, let us know if you're in support of Paul Pogba coming to Chelsea. Go ahead.
But we're not going to get him for cheap money. It's also going to break the wage structure and everything else, because Mino Raiola. Anytime Mino Raiola players go on the free, they cost a lot of money, right?
Tell me 1 second, Coach. You can keep the Fulham with you if you want.
Am I going to take him to Fulham with? You know what? As far as the Fulham thing, okay, I'm loyal to the the borough of Fulham and Hammersmith, and it happens that Chelsea plays in Fulham, and that's what allowed me to become a Chelsea fan to begin with. So it's not the opposite. It's more like it's because Chelsea plays in Fulham.
I know, Francis, I know you're Chelsea, but if the Ricketts come in for some miracle, something out of the world happens, because they're not going to come in, you're going to run to Fulham, aren't you? So
yeah, and I think Fulham's going to become my second team coming up this time around, anyways. Because when I went to London, I went to the Fulham game first because it was cheaper and it was just first. And I really like that stadium, and I like the fans there too. I mean, I really enjoyed my time that night.
Nick, you've made him not to answer the question. Phantom, you're still a Chelsea fan right now. You haven't moved to Fulham. So tell us your thoughts.
I have not moved to Fulham yet.
Exactly. Yeah. So tell us. So Nick, don't cause trouble again, okay? So Phantom, tell us. Do you want Pogba at Chelsea? If not, tell us why you don't want him.
That I don't want Paul Pogba? Is that the question?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the player. I have a problem with the agent. In this case, his agent is the one that's going to cause all the drama. I think Paul Pogba, he can respect Tuchel, and Tuchel knows how to massage players. He had to deal with Mbappe even. So I don't think that Paul Pogba is going to be the main issue if Paul Pogba comes. It's going to be the agent, Mino Raiola, that's going to be causing all the problems at Chelsea.
Yeah, I think you make a good argument. The big belly man, he loves money too much. It's crazy how much they were asking his agent fee for Chelsea to sign. What's his name? Erling Haaland. That was crazy. Something out of this world. Go ahead if you're still talking. If not, I'll breeze through the chat.
No, I do have a few more comments. I used to be, go sign a big player, go sign Haaland, go sign Lukaku. But after this Lukaku experience, I've completely turned around and said, hey, let's just give the academy boys a chance. We got all these players on loans. Let's give Conor Gallagher a chance. If you want to give Billy Gilmore a chance, fine too. And whoever else is out there, Broja, I want to give him a chance. I want to start. Because I think the Roman Abramovich way has been just, go out and get the best players and so forth. But how about we build it on a Liverpool model, where we give Tuchel like 3 years to build up something like the fans wanted to do with Lampard. But I don't think Lampard was the correct manager. I think Tuchel is the correct manager to do, the Liverpool model, to do the Jurgen Klopp model, to give Tuchel 3 years. And even if we don't win a single trophy in the next 3 years, that's okay. Because
you think it's okay at Chelsea? I don't think it is.
No, I mean,
even
but
for the fans.
If we're like, moving in Vale and giving these youngsters a chance, to give the youngsters a chance to move in, because a lot of times, people like Tammy Abraham, and I am wearing the Roma shirt right now. I really like Tammy Abraham, and I couldn't understand why Tuchel didn't give Tammy a chance, especially since it was only like after 2 games he pulled him out at the halftime and then never.
Yeah, but he was
awful
in that. You have to agree, he was awful in that game. And again, overall, he didn't really take his chances under Thomas Tuchel. That's just the truth.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Tuchel just didn't see enough effort in him or something. I don't know, but I think that he should have gotten more chance than he did get from Tuchel.
Yeah, that's a chance that may well be the case, but I don't think we really know. We can't really tell what happened. But that's, by the way, I appreciate your input. You're always great.
Coach, can I just come on that about Tammy Abraham 1 minute? If that's all right, Phantom?
Yeah, go ahead quickly, please.
Ahead.
Let me go through the chat because it's getting too long.
Yeah,
the chat is... Go ahead.
Look, he couldn't... He had chances and he didn't come good. Tuchel give him chances. And don't forget, Olivier Giroud was playing good and scoring, and he still couldn't get in the team. He was coming on as a sub a lot of times, and that's why Giroud decided to go. If anyone we should have kept, it was Giroud, not Tammy Abraham. I know he could go in Roma, but that's the Italian league. No way he'd be doing so good here if he was here. I saw Tammy Abraham. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great either. He's in the same mode as Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Hudson-Odoi. That sort of mode. And that's not good enough for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think he didn't take his chances on the Thomas Tuchel. So I want to quickly go through the chat and address some comments here. Fraser says, but the coach, Coachila, if he really wants Dembele, you can say you can't say no. It's unless he has a plan B and plan C. This where again, Fraser, I love you. I don't think the wanting a player comes down totally to what the manager wants. You have to consider other things like the behavior of the player. And remember, it's not when it comes to Dembele, it's not just about the racism role. It's about his discipline as an individual. Comes to training late. What is he doing at home? Playing video games. And it hasn't happened just once. It has happened on occasions. And again, you can't, I don't think the racism rule, I think is the strongest of all, the most pronounced of all the issues he has. And I don't think it's something you can be easily swept under the rug. It will always come up. And a club like Chelsea Football Club, whom I want to thank DJ Saf17, DJ Saf for making that comment here on the panel when he said Chelsea are still paying for racial issues they had years ago, decades ago. So I don't think Chelsea would want to risk that PR nightmare, because should we sign Dembele, you'd see opposition fans and the media go, racist club. They don't even care. I don't think the club would risk such PR. But that's, by the way, says, I truly love Tuchel, and I know you're dreaming of him coming to Arsenal, but I don't see that happening. And you too, yes, I love you too, Jasviola. Not even in your dreams, Melissa. They're really fighting over there, and I don't want to be part of it. You guys sorted out in the chat. Japanese are people who never forget. They don't forget such insult easily. They're very proud people, and for the right reasons. I think no culture takes disrespect lightly, especially something that happens on a world stage. For God's sake, what annoys me the most is that when it was being rumored that Chelsea were going to sign Antoine Griezmann, I'm going to repeat myself again. Chelsea fans went, whoa, why? He's racist, he's racist, he's racist. Okay, now, why on earth, why in the world do we want Dembele, who, if anything, who was the person that did all the talking? All Griezmann did was laugh. So that just doesn't make sense to me in any way. But that's, by the way, again, my argument is that I don't think Chelsea will look beyond that racism road to bring him. But that's, by the way, and Chinese, not just the Chinese, not just the Japanese, every culture don't take disrespect lightly. That's the truth. Here we have, if Tuchel comes to Arsenal, I will go crazy. Keep dreaming. You have every right to dream. Phantom of Fulham Road. I like that. Phantom, that job is at you from Mikhail. I hope you can see it. This is, but what if Dembele regrets doing that? He's already put out a statement, and of which Matt from Worldwide has described as half-hearted. I think when you're putting out such a statement, I think you should refrain from saying something like saying just you didn't mean it to hurt anybody. I think there are better ways to phrase it than when you said it, you didn't know it was going to be a problem. You was an innocent, so something like that. But then again, we're not here to talk about the apology he put out. Okay, let me see if I'll find something here to address. If not, we'll move on with the discussion. Yes, people, hit the like button, people, and subscribe to the channel. We have, if you haven't, we have about 38 people watching, and we have just 32 watching. At least we should measure the number of people watching. Let's shoot for 100 likes today. That will go a long way. I guess it's night in the US. No, it is 4:45 a.m. for me here. The show started at 3 a.m. Again, it's 28 p.m. Where are you? That's 1 p.m. Where that's 13:28. That's 1:28. I know as a veteran, you understand that time type of structure very well, Phantom. Let me see if there's anything here. We should get a match and play a fight as a group. I think we should. Yep, yes, you guys are like 3 hours ahead of me. But that's by the way. And with that opportunity, please, can you type and let us know where you're watching from? He said, what if not wants them? Again, this is Frizzle. Okay, let me know. And this is Immortal Gaming Audio Club. Okay. And my United fans, in my opinion, are overreacting. The Glazers and the problem, they need good and reasonable people on their board. The Glazers are actually they've spent quite a lot, but they've spent recklessly, and I cannot say it's their fault. And let me see if I find anything here that we should address. Or maybe we just move on. Declan Rice was the main target. Sam Ballard, I think this is your first time here. If you haven't, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. that will go a long way for us. And the Queen of all streams says, Chelsea ladies have the best leader. Sure, we will win. I hope that happens. We will own. I hope that happens. I want to know what Melissa has to say to that. The Tom bid, if he won, he would only own 20% of Chelsea. So he is not a favorite to take over Chelsea anymore. He has been telling lies about his bid. I'm not sure where this becomes an issue. Phantom, I know you say you're using your phone. Let me come to you with this comment here. Your thoughts. Is this an issue? Before I go to Nick.
I'm sorry. I can't read what's on the screen. It's too small.
Okay, should I read it for you?
Yes, please.
Okay, says that Tom Ricketts bid, if he won, he would only, okay, is it Tom or Todd Borley? But I'm saying Tom there, he will only own 20% of Chelsea. So he's not favorable to take over Chelsea anymore. He's lied, he's been telling lies about his bid.
Okay,
that's the Ricketts family.
Are we talking about the Ricketts? Or are we talking about?
Yeah, this is the Ricketts. Ricketts.
No, the Ricketts are just a horrible family all around. It's not just, it's the father and the son. So it's just like, no, we don't want the Ricketts, and I'm not going to support that. I'm not going to support that. Mm-hmm. So, but I'll support any other. I'm even retracting my demand that Rudiger stays, because even Marina might not have kept Rudiger if Abramovich had stayed. So I can't make that demand on Chelsea. That's a bridge too far. So as far as the new demand that I have is just no Ricketts, and then I stay Chelsea, and then Fulham becomes my number 2 team. My number 2 team. So I'd root for Fulham at any time other than when they're playing Chelsea heads up. That's if we get a non Ricketts owner, and I'll take any of them. I'll take the all 3 of the other ones. Yeah. So that's how. I mean, but I'm not that important, and I really did like Tammy Abraham. There was that goal that he saved. Was it at Morecambe or whatever, where he saved us from a goal being scored. He had this really great header, and then someone made a joke that said we should have converted him to a center back or something like that. I don't know if you remember that goal that he saved. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great off the line header. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That was in an FA Cup game, I think.
I forgot who he was against now.
It was Morecambe or somebody like that.
Morecambe, that's it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. But anyways, I think that the Serie A is an easier league because Lukaku was doing the same thing that Tammy is now. Tammy is scoring a whole lot of goals over there at AS Roma, so it is a much bigger, easier league, and maybe
yes.
But Tuchel gave Werner a lot of chances, a lot more chance than he gave Tammy. So. Was it one of those German things? I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
so quickly, if you're in the chat again, once more, please do let us know where you're participating from. That's good. That would be good to know. And here, 216 Basement Flip says he's participating from Cleveland, Ohio. To your fellow American, that's good to see. What happens if you're all get no honor, the club gets into administration or financial administration, but I don't think that will happen. There's no chance that will happen. Actually, Blue Years, the first club in London to win the Champions League. Thank you, Giroud. Never played under Tuchel. Tuchel knew he was not good enough. I don't get that argument. I think it's even better than what we have right now. But that's, by the way, this is a Chelsea channel. Sorry. So be respectful. And at least it's hard. I know, I get your point. Yeah, good point there by the Queen of all streams. It's difficult to work out where Phantom supports, why getting promoted. They might get promoted, you never know. So what Nizar saying is that we're all Chelsea fans expected Matthew signing to win at the fans.
I'm sorry. If you guys have not been paying attention in the Champions League, I think that Fulham has already clinched the promotion. I mean, look at how far they are ahead in the Champions League right now, in terms of the points. There's only a few games
championship.
left, right? Yeah, in the championship. I'm sorry, I didn't mean Champions League. I meant English Championship. They're number one by a lot.
Yeah,
So
Fulham,
I think for sure they're coming up back to the Premier League as they have done. They've gone down, come back up, gone down, come back up, and they're going to come back up again. So
they'll be back.
Welcome
next
back.
year.
Welcome back.
But will they stay there? That's a thing. But
Yeah,
they finish that stand there. Fulham will be a bigger ground.
Yeah, it's a nice that they're doing that upgrade. I don't know if you've seen the upgrade.
I've been to Craven Cottage a million of times. Playing Chelsea.
Yeah,
it was always a tight ground, too tight. When I used to go there, but now with that new stand, it looks amazing now.
Yeah, and I had better seats, and it only cost me £35 to get in. You would drop your jaw if you knew how much I had to pay to get into the Chelsea game.
All right. It looks like Phantom is unintentionally hijacking our talk about Chelsea.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And turning our channel I'm just joking. Turning our channel to a forum channel. But I'm just joking, bro.
You ain't seen nothing yet. No, I'm sorry.
So, True Blue says, Fraser, do you have anything positive to say? Guess what it is? It will be a different board. Mister, you probably didn't watch him play for Chelsea. And I was comment here, David Nunes will have 50%. We have 50% less than what Lukaku earn, and he's a better investment, a young and have physical play in for that. I think before that happens again, we have to sell. We have to sell before we can buy. That's certain. I think staff on the panel here on occasions have mentioned that. It's important, even before we started the Blue Money Show, we must sell before we buy. We have a bloated squad with a whole lot of players that are surplus to requirement. So it's important we sell them. And it's not easy to sell them because they're all earning quite a lot of money at Chelsea. They don't want to leave. They don't want to go to a club where they earn less because most of them could care less about their international career, if you ask me. But that's by the way. And Phantom, I hope you understand I was joking about what I said about Fulham. I know you do understand. So I'm continuing with the chat here. The first one says, True Blue, we don't need a statement signing. We wasted 100 million on Lukaku. Look what happened. I don't think a statement signing is necessary either, if you ask me. But we could make a few signings and not spend everything we have on that. Darwin Nunes, and I don't want Erling Haaland. It's danglingly expensive. I don't even think the new owners would even consider entertaining that is the request if Toko does that, to go get them. Oh no, Melissa Breuer. And again, the Queen of All Streams sends a sticker. Again, you don't have to do that. I appreciate that. I was just highlighting that on the screen because I really do appreciate your support. And again, you don't have to always donate, Queen, but I appreciate it. And Melissa says, thank you for the donation. Thank you, Melissa. You're really a good mod and you've been kind. And I'm glad we decided to make you a mod because you're kind-hearted. I've seen that. Even though you're a rival fan, you've been very professional as a mod. I don't know how else to phrase it. And Werner is going at Coachila. He's on 275K a week. Here's the thing: if Werner puts up, continue. If he remains consistent and perform as good as he did against Southampton, or as good as he did against Real Madrid, because on 2 occasions now he's shown what we saw before we paid, how much we paid for him. Against Southampton, he scored, what could argue was one of his best goals on a Chelsea shirt. And then against Real Madrid, he scored that beautiful one that he floored almost nearly all the Real Madrid defenders. Your thoughts, Nick? I'll start with you, Nick. Or Phantom, if you want to leave so soon, let me start with you because you say you're using your cell phone. Werner is going, Coachila says for us all.
Yeah,
he's on 275K. Do you think that will happen?
I'm giving Werner another year, just based on these 2 past performances. I think that he's just maybe a little bit later bloomer than Havertz, but he's starting to to feel the rhythm here. So let's give Werner another year. I would fire sell Lukaku back to Sarrier, whoever whatever money, salvage money we can get for Lukaku. Let's just get rid of him, because when he plays, he slows the team down, and there's no pace when Lukaku is playing. Sorry, he's kind of like a worse version of Tammy Abraham. He needs it served to him. Whereas, like I said, he's just not. Lukaku is not a fit for us, and he's not going to be a fit for us next year either. So let's just cut our losses and take whatever. If Juventus or some other team is willing to offer some money for him, let's get rid of him. And Jorginho, if Jorginho is being offered money from Juventus, let him go as well, because we got Conor Gallagher, we got Billy Gilmore, we got all these other people who could, be the next Jorginho already.
I'm going to ask this question, but before I'm going to let you know, the truth is selling Lukaku isn't easy. It is not that simple. Again, we're in a very, very precarious situation, given the price tag on him, given his age, given his form. It's not easy. And believe me, I'm still saying that rumor that PSG wants him, it's absolute nonsense. I don't see that happening. I don't see PSG paying such amount. If anything, the most that can happen with Lukaku now is to get him a loan move. And would Lukaku take a which card to go out on loan? I think he will, because the World Cup is near, and he will not be selected if he keeps staying on the bench. So that's my argument. Nick, and if you're in the chat, before I go to Nick, let us know what players you'd want to leave and what players you'd want to stay at Chelsea Football Club. And let me see if there's anything else to address here before I come to you, Nick. But that's a great input, though. He's another worse version of Tammy Abraham. And that actually made me, I have another question that I'm going to ask. Lukaku has sacked his agent and teamed up with, okay, we'll see what happens. So probably he is looking for a way out of Chelsea. That might be the case. And I think Ariola has the connection to get him out, but at what price and at what age and at what form? That's a very, very difficult ask of Ariola. Even I think his connections wouldn't want a Lukaku at this point. Please, the Queen says, let me see here. Alfredo, you just answered my question. You do just come to mourn. You did not read what I said. Okay. Again, Lukaku, 30 million to Arsenal. Maybe you can come take Lukaku for 5 million. Yeah, not even for 30 million. Thanks to you too. Again, anything here to address? If not, I'll just move on. I don't want to be reading the fight that's going on there. What I want from new owners is to stop wasting money on a problem and fix a problem. Scout right who to want. That's all I ask. Again, that's your argument there. First, I gotta be careful what I read. And this is my brother. I hope a PSG takes him. But then again, I'm going to repeat myself. I think that rumor that PSG wants Lukaku is absolute nonsense. PSG wouldn't pay that much money for him. I think they're already loaded in the attacking area. If any player they want to go for it, if they're going to spend up to even 70 million to buy Lukaku, I think they'd rather go pay the money for Erling Haaland. So I don't see that happening. Lukaku has hired Ariola back. Again, that's a sign. I hope that's a good sign. But who do you think Ariola can convince to come and take Lukaku? Tell me. I'll be happy to know. Lukaku has, okay, I've read that before. Yes, but Tottenham, if Ken goes, I think it would, what's his name? Conte want him? I think he would. But then again, given his form, would Daniel Levy pay up anything north of 70 million for Lukaku? I don't think so. Again, if they come for him, I think Chelsea will be willing to take some measure of loss, but not too much. So we'll see what happens again.
I have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, okay. So I think it's kind of poetic justice because we made a lot of money off of getting rid of Eden Hazard, and the money that we gained from Hazard and Real Madrid didn't get the value from Hazard is just about the same as if we unloaded Lukaku at a cheaper price, like 30 million or something like that. So what comes around goes around, because we made what? Was it 100 million or 120 million off of Hazard leaving to Real Madrid?
Yeah,
What
we
was
did.
the price? Yes,
I think
yeah.
it was something north of 100.
Yeah, so it's not really a net loss between the two trades, right? Because we lost Hazard and we picked up Lukaku, and then so if we give Lukaku out for like 30, 35 million, 40 million or whatever, take a $60 million or 60 million pound loss, then that's even on the two trades.
Yeah, just quickly, Nick, I'll come to you in a bit. Please just be patient with me. If you're watching, please make sure to smash that like button, please. The more you like the video, the Google or the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the video will be pushed to more people who will be interested in this particular topic. Great input right there, by the way, from my brother Phantom. The class said, I hope Lukaku goes to China. That's another issue. China also has been cracking down on the salary. They've been, with the player salaries, it's been an issue for them. So that's why most of the players that were there had to return to Europe or go back to their countries. And it says, let me see if there's anything else to address here. There's rumors that Hazard held talks with Arsenal. I think that's an absolute lie. I don't think he would go to a London club. Dude, we all get one another. Let's chill. Yep, let's chill. And again, I want to say big up to my brother Matt from Zivoli YouTube channel. Be sure to go check out his channel. I think you will like it. Please do that. Again, we have, I think, Fresor sent a link here. I will look at it in a bit so that we all can look at it together. And this is Hazard has said to have dismissed the talks of joining us. I don't think he would do that. He has his legacy at Chelsea, I think, will be tarnished to a certain measure if he joins Arsenal. Lukaku's link is here. Coachila. Okay, I will look at it in a bit. And here's Strip BA 100 to remove W in the tunnel today. I'm not sure what. I think they know what they're talking about between them here. Now, Nick, coming back to you, the question I want to ask, and if you're in the chat, let me know if you're thinking the same thing. Nick, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
The question for you again, I know we've talked about it yesterday, but I want us to talk about it even more. And while I ask you this question, I will leave for a minute or two before I come back. But you guys can stay on the panel and continue. The fact that John Terry's group, the True Blues group, have merged with the Steven Pagluica group, is that a giveaway that there's a chance that the Steven Pagliuca group are the favorites to become the new owners of Chelsea Football Club? Because to me, it says a lot that John Terry's group, that group, the True Blues group, would attach themselves to a particular group when there's still the possibility for that group not to become the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. Because if you ask me, I'd say also there's a chance that John Terry has an insider who's told him that this is what's going to happen. Your thoughts, Nick? And Phantom, I want to get your answer on this once Nick is done.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it's two ways. It could well be John Terry must know something, but I don't think Chelsea will go. They're going to say no one knows who's the new owner. Even John Terry, I don't think he really knows who the new owners are, unless he's with Roman Abramovich, and talking with him, or Marina. So, it's a possibility, yes. But the thing is with Pagliuca, like we said, there's so many people involved. There's more investors than Man City fans. It's unbelievable. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think that most of us are going to say that either Todd, Steven, or Martin, we're okay with any of those three as long as it's not the Ricketts. I'm at that point, aren't you? Wouldn't you say that those other three, whichever gets them, is fine with me at least?
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you because that certain person we were hoping for, the miracle bidder, hasn't come. Well, I was hoping for someone like Roman, but he hasn't come.
Well, the
Yeah,
miracle bidder was the Saudi group, right? Because they were going to just splash
well,
money on us.
before the Saudis were there, but they didn't get the chance.
Yeah.
They don't have the money like the others. But there's no mystery bidder. I don't think no one else is going to come in. I'll be really shocked. My friend got it all wrong, I'm afraid. But for me, like you said, out of the three, I prefer Bolton or Todd group. Out of them two, the only thing, even with John Terry and all the fans and all that, is still there's too many people involved. There's so many. You go and read the list. I put it out yesterday. You see that, Coach? How many of them? There's too many. So how they're all going to agree with decisions? I don't know. That's too much. I don't think Roman is going to choose them. All right, John Terry could know something, but even if he does, I don't think they're the favorites. I still think Todd Bowley is going to win this. I'll keep saying.
Again, the John Terry move is, I think, it could seriously be an indicator. Believe me. And again, if you're in the chat, let us know the fact that John Terry, the True Blues group, has merged with the Steven Pagliuca group. Let me know if that makes them the favorite, or maybe it's an indicator that possibly that the Steven Pagliuca group may well be the preferred bidders. Your thoughts on that move, Phantom?
Like I said, if John Terry's group with the Steven group merges and they win, that's fine with me. If Martin wins, that's fine with me. If Todd wins, that's fine with me. Because between the three of them, I don't know which one's going to be the best. All we know is we don't want the Ricketts.
So but do you think that that's a sign that he wins? I don't have anything against Steven Pagliuca. Because his promise, he has arrangements in place to relinquish
I don't
his.
think that's a sign. I think that John Terry was out of the running, right? So he has to attach with somebody. So
no, there was never a time they tried that the True Blues group tried to buy that is the Chelsea Football Club on their own. They're just looking for 10%. So let me explain. Maybe that will help you understand my question now. Because they want just 10% from whoever. That's the way it was phrased before. From whoever buys Chelsea Football Club. Now it's open now that they've merged with the Steven Pagliuca group. They've joined the Steven Pagliuca group. Now, isn't that an indicator, if you ask me, that there's something Terry knows that we don't know? Because he can't just, joining them means. He's not going to join any other group. He's attached himself to the other group.
Well, so who knows? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother.
I'm thinking like he's attached them to the Steven group, but if Martin wins, then maybe he changes to attaching himself to the Martin group too. What's to say that he can't attach himself to another group, the winning group, whatever the winning group is, even though right now he's loyal to Steven. Right. I think that's reading too much into it to say that he's going to know. I mean, why would John Terry know? I mean, is Roman Abramovich so in love with John Terry that he's going to whisper in his ear, hey, it's going to be Steven, so why don't you attach to Steven? That's like reading a lot into it, don't you think?
Roman is
I don't think so, because it wouldn't be a smart move to attach yourself to a particular group. And then if that group loses out, then you're out. It will be difficult to get into the other group because you're out already. Because this is the final phase. You get my calculation now. Why that comes to mind. Again, it's all speculations because I'm not at the table. I'm not John Terry, but I'm thinking he knows something that we don't know. Nick, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was saying, I agree with Phantom. It could be, two ways about this. But I don't think John Terry does really know the new owner yet. I don't think no one does yet. Only Roman knows who's the new owner. And he's not going to tell John Terry or Didier Drogba or anyone. You know, we're going to see. But, you know, it's a possibility, of course. But the only thing, like I said before, there's too many in that group. You know, I can't see how they're going to agree with any decision. Yeah.
Given what you said, you're saying that because there are too many people in the group that they will find it difficult making decisions. Was that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Have you read the list of how many of them are in that group? You know, so it's far too many. You know.
Yeah, I think the numbers don't really matter because I don't think they'll be the one to make the decision. I think it will be structured in a way the decision in terms of running the club comes down to the chairman of the club, because it's not the football football is structured differently than the regular business. It's a business, all right, but the structure is usually different, because if you structure it the way you structure businesses, then before you come to conclusions on what you want to do, then it's a little too late for you. So I don't think that's an issue.
I know what you're saying, but for me, I don't think it's going to be them. I don't know. I might be wrong, of course. But, you know, it's good to have John Terry and the Blue Group because we know they're all real fans. That's the only good thing. But, you know, they're only going to have a little say. They ain't going to have a major say in what happens. So, you know, but we don't know. Today, tomorrow, we should know a lot more about this.
If we're speculating, okay, how about this? What if Steven was the only one that would accept John Terry's 10% bid? What if the Ricketts said no? What if Todd said no? And what if Martin said no? And so the only place John Terry could go was with the Steven group. That's another possibility as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another possibility. That's why I keep saying I don't know. I don't think it's going to be them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you make a good argument there. That's another possibility, and we must recognize that. But then again, given that if John Terry joins your group, he enhances, that is, your chances of getting on the good side of the fans. I don't think there's any group that will say no. What your thoughts, Phantom?
I'm pretty sure that the Rain group doesn't really care about what the fans think. Otherwise, they would not have invited the Ricketts aboard into the final sequence.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take it for that.
Yeah. Also, because 95% of the fans have already declared, even if the Ricketts are the winners, that they'll still be Chelsea fans. So in that case, and plus the 250 people who showed up at Stamford Bridge, I mean, why would the Reigns group take you seriously with that kind of performance?
Yeah. I think you make a good argument right there. And again, it could be anything. We just don't know. We just have to speculate. But with time, we will find out what that is. Now, the next question I have for you, Phantom, if you're still here. Now, you could argue that the Lukaku journey from when he left Chelsea on loan to Everton, sold. Went to Lukaku went to West Brom, right? Didn't he? What club again?
I think he went to Man United.
No, I'm coming. He started from loan to, I think it was West Brom.
Everton.
Loan to Everton, sold to Everton. Everton now sold him to Manchester United, who sold him to Inter Milan, and then we bought him back from Inter Milan. I think in so many ways you could argue the Lukaku journey so far is no different from that of Abraham. I think they're similar in so many ways, given their exploits in the Premier League, and now he's firing on all cylinders.
I'm not sure that Tammy is ever going to want to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm coming. So the question is now, do you think, because we have a buyback clause, and he's doing really well, even better than the strikers we have at the club.
Right.
Given the similarities between their journey in the exploits in the Premier League and now in Italy, do you think maybe Tammy Abraham could possibly be another
No, I don't think Tammy will ever want to come back. I think that, especially not under Tuchel, because Tuchel really did not treat Tammy well at all. And to this day, I don't understand why. Because he gave Werner so many more chances than Tammy, right? So, and I don't know whether it's just the German thing again, that made him gave the chance, or whether he was instructed by Marina or somebody to give Werner and Havertz more chance than Tammy because of the cost issues. Who knows what's behind the scenes? But as far as Tammy is concerned, the way Tammy talks, I don't think he's coming back to Chelsea, and Marino doesn't want to sell him, so I don't think he's coming back. And as a Tammy fan, I'd rather see him stay in Roma.
Yeah, the question is, do you think he will be another Tammy Abraham, another Romelu Lukaku?
Yeah,
because
I do.
The stories are so similar that I'm fearing that if he comes back to Chelsea, he's never gonna be able, to be firing off cylinders like he's doing at Roma for Chelsea Football Club.
Right. I think that the way he talks. He says, Marino's the best coach or the best manager ever. That's an insult against a Tuchel without, actually saying it, right? To say that he's the best manager I've ever had. Well, that means that Tuchel is not. That means that Frank Lampard is not. So, and Marino's the one who brought out, all the goodness in Tammy, quote unquote, and the fans in Italy love him, and he's having fun with the food and everything else. I know that we don't want to get personal, but his main objection to leaving Chelsea to begin was the girlfriend at the time didn't want to leave London, but when she decided it was okay to leave London, then he was okay with leaving London. So now that the girlfriend and him are happy in Italy, I don't see a problem with him staying for the rest of his life in the Serie A. If Werner had not gotten good in these past 2 games, he might have decided, he needs to go back to the Bundesliga. Also, am I allowed to open up a can of worms here or not? If I am, I'm going to say it. If you don't want me to, I won't introduce another topic.
When you say a can of worm, what do you mean?
Okay. Tuchel and his wife just got divorced, like a few days ago.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, then I'm not going to open up that can of worms. Okay, but I'm just saying that the people are not as loyal as you think. There are conditions where things may change on a dime. Like if I can't see my kids anymore, then I might go. So there's all sorts of things that we don't know about in the background that makes people make decisions. One of the reasons why I thought that Harry Kane might come to Chelsea is because his wife really wants to stay in London. And again, we ignore these things about wives, girlfriends, and kids and stuff like that, but they come into the equation on how people make decisions, especially
family do, and that's probably the reason why Rudiger have one of the reasons why he hasn't left already. But go ahead.
Yes, correct. So I mean, Azpilicueta wants to stay in England because his kids are literally English. I mean, I don't know if they speak Spanish or not, but they grew up in England, right? So they don't want to be displaced. Remember Messi as well. He didn't leave Barcelona for the longest time because his kids said, "No way do I want to leave." They didn't want to go to France, but eventually I guess they did. But so we don't know about the background of these things, and that makes people make decisions, as family. A lot of times, what was that guy who we were going to get, but he eventually went to PSG because his wife didn't want to come to London or something like that. Do you remember that?
What's his name?
Yeah, I don't remember his name
Moroccan
either.
international.
Yes, that guy. But his wife was adamant about going to Paris instead of London, and a lot of these players are going to do what the wife says. So that's that.
Yeah. Let me quickly read this comment from Lionel. And Lionel, I just sent you the link to the panel in your private Twitter DM. The reason I want Lionel here was when we wanted to sign Lukaku, Nick, I know you can hear me. Lionel was one of the most vocal, saying, "No, don't do it, don't do it. It's gonna be a big mistake. Don't do it, don't do it." And Chelsea did it. And in that video where he called for Chelsea not to go for Lukaku, the video got more dislikes than likes. Then YouTube still showed likes, and I was like, but again, it got a lot of views, but more people coming there was coming because they hated the fact he was calling against us signing Lukaku. Again, I think you make some important point, and your response to this question is really deep. And the truth is, it's a risk, and there's a possibility he will be even worse than Lukaku. Believe me, the fact that the stories are similar, he's playing well under Mourinho, but there's a chance if we sign him, then we have another Lukaku in our hands. Your thoughts are, Nick?
Yeah, I said it before. Tammy, yeah, he was a decent player, but he wasn't a special player, who came out of the youth system, like Mason Mount, Rhys James, Conor Gallagher, Billy Gilmore. I could go on. I can go on and on. He wasn't nowhere near their level. Tammy Abraham, I'm afraid, I watched him a lot when he was playing. He didn't have it. He was too fragile. He was too tall, but he couldn't hold that ball. And he was knocked off the ball far too easily. Lukaku is a different player. You can't compare Abraham with Lukaku. There's no way in hell. Lukaku is a different player. He's more physical and he's a stronger player than Tammy will ever be. He hasn't got it. And we can't have another one. Bring back Tammy like we did with Lukaku, and the same thing's going to happen. They've proven in Italy, not here in the Premiership. And if we do find someone to sell Lukaku to, I can see the only ones who have the money to do that is Newcastle. I can see him going to Newcastle, but no other major club is going to want him right now. No Liverpool, City. I can say Tottenham, possibility Tottenham if Kane leaves, because Conte does like him. Conte can make him play. That's the thing. It's different with Conte because Conte plays to Lukaku's strengths. Tuchel, he plays the system he likes, and it just doesn't fit. We tried, I backed Lukaku all the way to how long? Then, even me, I was calling for him to be on the bench because he wasn't proving it. And Havertz, since he's come back and replaced him, it's been a different kettle of fish. Havertz, you can't replace Havertz. And
you just can't. He's got a good, delicious touch.
Yeah.
He's a fine finisher, and he gives more. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Timo Werner, the way he's gone in the last two games, it shows he's got it in him. And when you watch Germany and Havertz and Werner together, they're lethal. So I would give Timo Werner another year for sure. I don't want him to go. I don't think he's going to go now. Like we all thought he might be the first one out because he's come back in a way. I can see him saying, I wish he stays another year. And for us to buy any other player, look, we have to get rid of the Barclays of this world. Barkley, Alonso is coming to his end. Barkley, Alonso, Saul went back where he come from. And we have a few other players who are just dead wood. They're not, they're just getting paid for sitting, been on that bench and not being used. So Tuchel has to get this, get them out, if possible, because they won't leave very easily as well because of the way, like you said. So it's going to be, let's see what happens. But I'm sure the new owner will back Tuchel and give him what he wants. If he wants to keep Lukaku another year, it's up to Thomas Tuchel. No one else. And I'll back Tuchel, whatever he does. I'm with Super Thomas Tuchel because he's the best manager in the world for me. above Klopp and Pep. He's above them for me.
Yeah,
I guarantee. Go on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I have a feeling, next year with the right owners, and if they back Tuchel, we're gonna win the Premiership again. I have no doubts about that. And if not the Champions League again,
I do hope.
I think that will happen with the right backing. Just back the manager and give him like a Strip said in her comments, 10-year contract, no less. That's what I want to see.
I don't think they'd give him a 10-year contract, and I don't want that to happen either. I think it's a big problem because the length of the contract means there'll be a big payoff should anything happen. I think it's too much. I think we'll go 3 years at a time. But that's, by the way, and a great input there. And I want to welcome my friend and brother Lionel Jewell to the panel. Great channel. Nick, have you checked out Lionel Jewell channel before?
No, I haven't.
I think you should. I think you should. That's probably because you haven't met him. And again, if you are in the chat, make sure to go check out Lionel Jewell YouTube channel. Believe me, you will love the guy. Great content, great individual.
Post your YouTube. Post it on YouTube so we know where to go. Because sometimes you say. Okay,
I'll post the link. I'll post the link in a bit. I think since he's here, you would see. I'll add him his information to the description section. If you're watching, please make sure to go check out Lionel Jewell YouTube channel. Great content and great individual and great presentation. I think you will love his channel. So let me quickly breeze through the chat. And here, Lionel, I'm going to read the comment first. He says, Tammy and Lukaku are lower league strikers. Stop at these. Just because he grew up at Chelsea doesn't make him a top player. I agree with that. And cannot unmod babes. Okay, I think I may at some point handle it myself. And please, I get your point, the Queen of Austrians herself. And I see Just Viola also not happy. But what I want to say is, please be respectful to each other, no matter what you say to each other. Refrain from calling each other stupid and all that nonsense. And I think it was nice to see Fraser or call anybody stupid. Again, we can still argue and still be respectful to each other. Please be careful what you say to each other. It's not okay to fight, please. Again, here, Sylvia says it's the boss, but would ask if, yep, it just inbox me. I'll listen to you, Queen. Okay, the voice was a while ago. Okay, that's, by the way, again, that's this True Blue saying he supports Chelsea, doesn't care if it's, silenced or not, but that's, by the way. If you have any question regarding the conversation here, please do say something. Sylvia says, okay, that's a conversation they're having there. Why is it relevant that the Ricketts use a debt as part of their financing structure for the clubs? When properly used, debt provides financial leverage. That's the truth. And that's the reason why we've argued here. There's practically all other prospective new owners are going to, borrow money to, for the price. They're not going to pay out of pocket. So that's understandable. And declared you should run for the presidency even if you are justified. Okay, that's, by the way, no to disrespect. Exactly, please, don't disrespect each other. Be respectful. So, Lionel, back to you. Now, when the club was at the point, how you doing, brother? And welcome to the panel.
I'm good. How are you? Sorry, my internet is actually acting up a bit, so if you lose me for a while, apologies. But yeah, go on. I'm listening.
Okay. Now, when the club was at the point of signing Romelu Lukaku, I think you were the only content creator who said, no, don't do that. Please don't do that. The video got a lot of views, but it got more dislikes than likes. And it turns out you were correct. I argued against it in some way by saying we should rather, I think would be better off going for Dusan Vlahovic than Lukaku because they played in the same league. I think Dusan Vlahovic then played for Fiorentina. Lukaku played for Inter Milan. And Dusan Vlahovic was just 3 goals behind Lukaku, even though he played in a team that's created less chances than Inter Milan did. And he's an all-around player, good ball control, such a sweet left foot and all that. Yet we went and paid, and Vlahovic then was just 22 or so, paid 100 million plus for a 22-year-old. Tell us your thoughts then when you were clamoring for the club or not to sign him. What did you see that most of us didn't see then?
The thing is, I think when it comes to Chelsea and us Chelsea fans, we have this idea or this feeling of always going with nostalgia when it comes to certain players. I think the success of teams like Man City and teams like Liverpool is that when they make their purchases, or when Klopp decides on a team, or Pep decides on a team or a player that he wants to bring in, there's no nostalgia in what he does. With the case of Jadon Sancho, like obviously Jadon was a Man City player. He decided to leave and he wasn't stopped. Same with Aguero and so on and so forth. The Lukaku. Yes, he has amazing stats, but he doesn't work for Chelsea because he's not a hungry striker. And what I mean by a hungry striker, I'm talking about guys like Didier Drogba and Diego Costa. If you look at the style of play that Diego Costa and Drogba had, they were seriously hungry strikers.
I think we lost him for a bit. But I'll let him continue when he comes back. I can't hear him. But Nick, I hope you get it. You're back.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was saying, I don't know where I stopped, but I was talking about strikers that are hungry, and we don't have that in Lukaku. That's why when the conversation was being had, I preferred a Haaland to a Lukaku, not because Haaland was, of course he was young, he showed potential, but it's his style of play, the hunger that he puts in to chasing the ball down, chasing defenders down, making it an issue, like a Diego Costa did when he was at Chelsea. That's what Chelsea needs for a successful striker. Someone who, after having 2 bad games, slumps his shoulders, has an attitude, makes interviews about leaving, and so on and so forth. I mean, I saw it coming from a mile away, and I took the heat for it, but at the end of the day, for the betterment of Chelsea, I think moving forward with whoever comes in as a new owner needs to look at what type of player we get and the ambition and the importance they put on wearing that Chelsea shirt. And I don't think Lukaku has that. I don't think Tammy Abraham. I think Tammy Abraham may have the hunger to play for Chelsea, but I don't think he has the skill to be a Premier League winning striker.
Yeah, and so you're saying practically that Tammy Abraham will most definitely be on that Lukaku story, because we have a buyback clause, and some people are already dreaming of us buying him back, thinking if he comes back, he'd be firing all cylinders just like he's doing for Roma right now. So you think his case will be the same as Lukaku? Should we spend that much money bringing him back?
I hope not, because the Italian league, like the Spanish league, like the German league, are lower leagues than the Premier League. If you go to those leagues and you succeed, and I don't think it necessarily translates. For some players, it does, maybe. We will have to see if Haaland ever makes it to the Premier League, but I just think that it just doesn't translate. Look at Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho has had a horrible season in terms of what he's done in the last few years, and no one is talking about it because I don't know what the reasons are, but the reality is he's just not cutting it because the leagues are different. we've all spoken about how intense and how strong. I mean, if you remember when Timo Werner arrived, they asked him after a few games, what's the difference? He said English defenders are much bigger and much quicker, and there's less space to run into. And that's the reality of the Premier League that we don't talk about when we look at guys like Lukaku and Tammy Abraham. And I just don't think they cut it. I honestly don't think they cut it. And unfortunately, that's the reality that we're living right now.
Wow. Yeah, we're in serious trouble. And Nick, any input there?
Yeah, I want to add on that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been saying, Lionel. No chance. I don't even think Tuchel will even think about Tammy Abraham to buy him back. Because he won't. He won't. He won't. He's not for the Premiership, like you said. They're good for in Italy because the defenders are different. They play different football, slower football. It's completely different. Now, Lukaku's proved to us why he's different. We can all see what's going on. Look at Lukaku. He's too slow. He can't keep up the pace with the defenders out here. He's much too slow. I wish he can change it, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And Tammy Abraham is worse than Lukaku. Don't get me wrong. Tammy, I saw a lot of Tammy, and he's far too clumsy with the ball. He used to get knocked off, so easily. If you remember watching him, he wasn't suited for Chelsea or the Premiership. Yeah, and like Lukaku, like I said, the only hope for us is that Newcastle might want him and give us some decent money for him. That's the only thing. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick. You still talking?
I just said to Lionel, he's absolutely correct. That's what I think as well. Exactly the same. Yeah. No, he's gone now.
In the end, he was very correct because he was the only content creator who vocally and loudly said, "Don't sign this guy." And I'm going to look at the poll. I don't know. Can you see the poll, Nick?
I can see. Let me put my glasses on.
Yeah, if you can see the poll. Yeah, I asked, do you think a Tammy Abraham will be another Lukaku? And 75% said yes, and 25% said no. And I think I'll go with the 75% because the truth is, it's a possibility. And it's all too familiar to be different. You get my point now. It's all too familiar to say if we pay that much money to bring him back to the club, that his case will be different. I think it will be the same issue. And I don't want us to risk paying that much money to try to bring him back. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think we're going to do that anyway. I can't see it. I can't see Tuchel wanting him back.
Yeah, that's a
when
okay, let me go ahead.
Especially when we see Brogia doing so well right now. So when we're going to see, when the season is over and all these players come back, how they're going to do in the pre-match, pre-season build-up. They're going to have game time. They're going to show Tuchel what they're worth. So we have a good future to look for, I think, with the players we have and the manager we have. It's just we're still in the 2 months about the new owner. So I hope, and I'm sure Roman is going to do the correct thing and give us a good owner. That's what we need. And we're going to challenge next year.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this again. The fact is this, whether I would like it or not, there's a chance if Tuchel leaves, the new manager might say, okay, I want this guy. And then we'll end up making the same mistake we'll make with Lukaku. I hope that's not the case, but we'll see what happens. And the queen of all streams says 41 likes. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. 41 likes isn't easy because we didn't have that too many people today, but 41 likes is huge. And I know probably by the time we end, was to get more likes. And here, CFC is not a fit for Tammy Abraham, not at all, especially under Thomas Tuchel or Romelu. I think that's a great point from you. We need a speed, we need pace, we need control, we need a player who's able, an attacker who's able to drop deep, support the play and not just wait to come up to their feet or something like that. That's a great point. Linus, apologies, my connection keeps cutting out. I cannot hear a thing. Again, no worries, brother. Again, your input is valuable, and I appreciate you finding time to join. And again, if you're watching, if you haven't, make sure to go check out Lionel Jewel YouTube channel. Let me even provide a link to his channel so you can go check it out. Great content, great individual, and he loves Chelsea so much. And I think you should go check out his channel. Believe me, if you do, you will thank me later. And again, to know how much of a factual he is and how objective he is one of the only, if not the only content creator who said we shouldn't sign Romelu Lukaku. And he answered the fact now we're learning that he was correct to have said that. So yeah, that's why I love him so much. And let me just find the link to his channel and share it with you guys so you can go check it out. I will be with you in a bit. I'm just trying to get the correct link. Yep, here is the link to Lionel Jewel's YouTube channel. I hope, please, you go check it out. And please, if you haven't, wherever you're watching from, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you very much. Phantom says Tommy is learning Italian. Good. And the Queen says it kind of helps. Yes, because he lives there. Need the link. Love Chelsea boys. Yep. Stripia is one of the biggest Chelsea supporters as I've ever seen. She's everywhere. And there's hardly a YouTube channel where you go to that she's not a mod there. So I appreciate having her here. She's been here with the channel since, I think, when I had around 50 subscribers. But that's by the way. So Nick, I wanted to, I don't know, you've talked about it already, and I think it's good to hear you talk about that. Nick, let's say any final thoughts on what we've talked about today. And if you're in the chat, please let us know if you have any questions for us so that we can address it. We have a few minutes to round off. So Nick, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, we've talked about everything again. But I just want to know, who the new owners or who are the real favorites after. After today, we're gonna know tomorrow. I think we should know a bit more, and I'm just waiting to see, like everyone else is, that it won't be the Ricketts. That'd be a disaster after everything. But I'm sure even the Chelsea supporter groups are not with them. I told you before, we had a vote, 70 against. So I don't think they're going to have a chance. They made their great points. They're trying to make us believe in them. But great points. But if they come in, they're all for money, nothing else. And we're not stupid. Roman is not stupid to go with that. Yeah. I just wanted. We said it before, but I'm just saying it again. Forget Tammy Abraham. Whoever is thinking Tammy Abraham can come back and be a great player for Chelsea, I don't think that will happen. I don't think he will even get the chance because Tuchel will not bring him back. You have to see Broja, how young he is, and he's miles better than Abraham will be. So, that's what I think.
Yeah, so let me quickly breeze through the chat, and then we'll look at the tabs we have here to see what's been out there. We'll breeze. Sky Sports say it's going to take till the end of the month. Yeah, I think that's the truth. And trust Sky Sports like I do the BBC, but Sky Sports, according to staff, they don't say anything good about Chelsea Football Club. But that's, by the way, we're not here to talk about conspiracies or what we think is going on. So he's a puppet would be changed. that's really funny. Again, let's go through this, and this is from Simon Phillips. He says the Premier League is expected to take the remainder of the month to evaluate those involved in the Chelsea beat, and its work to approve all four consortia means the process may need to be extended. Do you have any concerns about that, Nick?
Sorry, I didn't get that. What did you say?
If you read what's on the screen, this is from Simon Phillips saying the Premier League is expected to take the remainder of the month to evaluate those involved in the Chelsea beat, and its work to approve all four consortia means that the process may need to be extended. Are you concerned that that may lead to the process taking too long? But if you ask me, I say I'm not really concerned because it's just a few days more.
Yeah, it's only going to be a few days more, and it's better for Chelsea, so they really get into all of them and see who's the best. And it's only good for us. I mean, soon, the season's going to come to an end, so we don't have to worry about nothing. And at the end of the season, after a couple of weeks, we should know who the new owners are. I'm sure we will. So, Simon Phillips, for once, he said something which I agree on, because I don't usually agree with him or anyone else, or any other journalist. I believe in this. What he said is true,
Yeah, how true is this one from Susanna Maggie? This is confirmed. Final beats for Chelsea must be submitted by the end of the day today. I think I saw that somewhere else. I think from Simon Phillips or so. Which consortium are you backing? Is that the truth?
I don't know exactly. That's what I heard as well. That they have today, end of the day, to put the final bid through. I think that's true, really. Yeah, could be well true. And then it's going to take time for the Chelsea to look at everything again. And then, it's going to take time for them to take it, to decide. And Marina will say to tell Roman who she thinks and check. And so forget Bruce Buck. Bruce Buck, he's going to be out. Because once Roman finds out what he's been doing behind his back, he's going to be for sure. So, and we're going to see who we get as the new chairman when the new owners come. But I can't see Bruce Buck saying that if it's not the Ricketts. Now. Here Mikhail says how many times will final beats be submitted. I think the reference on the final beats we're talking about, I don't think I think they've done one set final. I think they give them chance to enhance their beats. That's what they called the second one, which is the one that the deadline is today. So the first one they called it final beats, but they had to, because I don't know the reason for saying, okay, you have a chance to extend your bid, which was the reason why the whole process was extended again for several days. That was what happened. Again, I think good question. It's important to address that. And Melissa had 50 billion on the bet. Okay, Queen. That's hilarious. And then Melissa is laughing too. And with this comment on the screen, Chelsea FC sell U.S. investors Clear Lake to own 50% stake if Bally wins auction. Now, I don't think we've talked about that, and I don't think it's an issue. To me, I think that group is fine if you ask me. But again, I must state clearly here, my preferred group is the Martin Brunton group, for obvious reasons. The Premier League proven, like we said to players, but this time for owners, I say he's Premier League proven, given the work he did at Liverpool. Even though he was the chairman there, I don't have any issues with them. Your thoughts, Nick? Do you have any issues with the Martin Brunton group? No, I like the fact that he's a lifelong Chelsea supporter. That's a good thing. That's in his favour. Apart from being chairman of Liverpool, that's nothing. That doesn't mean a thing. He's a fan. Yeah, I wouldn't mind them. Like I said, I just have that feeling because Todd Bowley was there at the Brentford game, and they Sky Sports were on to him, and he was sitting with Marina and everyone. So that's why I have a feeling it could be him. But we don't know. Yeah, but he sounds good. He sounds good, Matthew Broughton. Yeah.
Yeah, it really sounds good indeed. And if you're watching, I think the likes has improved since Street Beer said something. We can also get even more likes because we have a few minutes to round off, and we can get even more views also. This one here, I want to read the first part of this, which is this one here that reads, I think it says, representatives of the Pagliuca-led group have confirmed that their bid is all cash and no debt, and so is the Ricketts family bid led by Tama and Laura Ricketts. Good to hear that they're all not going into debt to facilitate the purchase of the club. To me, that is a huge news. Okay, and then this one here, I want to read this one too. Your thoughts are that the fact that we're learning that these two bidders, just these two specifically, they're paying with cash, they're not borrowing money to buy the club. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good thing to hear. They have the cash, and we know they have the cash. They're multi-billionaires, so we don't have to worry about that. It's just when they hear the final hence the final say today, supposed to be, then there's gonna be a clearer picture tomorrow. I hope who is the favourites. It will come out tomorrow, I'm sure. If not tonight on Sky Sports News or any other news channel. So we have to be patient, and we've been patient for so long. It seems like it's taking forever, but these things take time. It's not like you're selling a house or something. This is a much bigger thing. And,
it is indeed. Yeah,
it's massive. So we have to be patient. We're going to know after the season is finished. We won't know anything until then.
Yeah. And this one says, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, go.
This one says, as of Tuesday, the Ricketts family, with backing from Dan Gilbert and Ken Griffin, had a collective fortune of nearly 52 billion, and all equity deal means Chelsea would not be constructed to debt services payments or worry about finding funds to invest in the squad. Even at that, I still do not want the Ricketts family. That is good news. They'll reach, but again, it all comes down to who Roman believes will take care of the job, the club, and it's a good thing that Roman has to sign up before the whole conundrum or process is complete. So that it doesn't matter how much they have. There are other factors that come into play. I think, and this says, I think we've read this before. I think there's something else I'm reading. I think there is nothing else to read here. Nick, any final thoughts? Or if you're in the chat, if you want us to, impressive indeed, but I don't think that makes a huge difference. Nick, any final thoughts from you before we round off for the day?
Yeah, we're hearing great things from the Ricketts, and we're going to carry on hearing them saying even more great things as to when it gets older. They're just trying to win us over. That's all. They will try anything they can, but for me, I don't see them coming in. Otherwise, the Chelsea Trust, the pitch owners, major Chelsea fan groups would have called us all out to Stamford Bridge if they thought they had a slight little chance. We all be up there, I'm sure. So for everyone to be so quiet, that means they don't have a chance. So they're still worried. People are still worried about them.
People. Yeah. You don't worry for obvious reason. You're saying you don't see it happening.
I don't see Roman doing that. Roman wants to do the best for Chelsea. He's got a great legacy at the club. He's a legend, and he knows he's going to have his statue built there outside the bridge, and a stand named after him. So he knows everything, and he's not that sort of person to put to have someone who he was so against, and he changed Chelsea. He changed Chelsea to a non-racist club, which he was so racist before Roman. He got rid of so much. So Roman, trusting Roman because he's the man to trust. I'll keep saying it. How many times? I've been saying it since I've come onto your show from the first day, Coach. And so don't worry about that. I hear people still worry, but they shouldn't be. And we got great things to look forward to. We have the FA Cup semi-final coming up, and hopefully we get to the final and win that. That'd be something brilliant to end off the season. That'd be a massive thing because it's going to be against City or Liverpool, and that'd be a great day if we can do that and finish it for Roman with another trophy. That'd be unbelievable. And we can give the FA Cup to Roman. That's for Roman. We're going to play for him.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate you finding time to join me on the panel. And with that, I want to say thank you to you, Nick. And then again, thank you to Stripia, the queen of all streams. She says, thank you, Strat, are the best humans I know, the boss and the panel. Keep it kicking ass. I love you. Love you too, the queen of all streams. Thank you very much for always supporting the channel. And thank you to another queen, Melissa Castillo. Even though she's not a Chelsea fan, she's one of the queens of the house. I appreciate you finding time to join today and to help keep the house clean. Thank you very much, Melissa. And thank you to my friend and brother, Phantom of Many Topics. Also, thank you for one of the queens of the house, Just Viola. I can't find any of her comments here. Thank you for my brother, Mikael, for always for also staying till now. Thank you for True Blue. Thank you for Frizz All. Thank you for Lionel Joel. Thank you to Just Viola again. And thank you to everyone else who had the time to join us today. And with that, we've come to the end of today's Blue Morning Show. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow for another Blue Morning Show. And today it's been fun. And with that, I say, see you all next time. And love you all. God bless us all. And bye.